Chicken, 31 Jackson Street, Suite A, here in Newt.
You're walking, shopping, or on your favorite trail. You get that feeling somebody's coming up on you. What do you do to be prepared in today's world?
What just fucking happened?
Self-defense. All women of all ages have the ability to learn how to defend themselves effectively with technical drills to build their survival skills. You can be your own hero. Classes and private seminars are available. Learn today to have a safer tomorrow. WarriorDefenders.com.
Keep your home safe with home scan inspections. Our licensed and accredited professionals know exactly what to look for in order to prevent safety hazards and costly effects that may be found in your home. Ask about our free roof and termite inspections to ensure all areas are covered. Visit homescaninspector.com or send a text to 770-855-5678. Home Scan Inspections, where home matters.
Hi, I'm Dr. Louis Quinn, and I'm a counselor that works here in the Metro Atlanta area. I'm offering my services as a counselor. Contact me if you need my services at my website, www.flourish2live.org, or you can reach me at my number, 470-295-0167. If you're in need of counseling services, please reach out. We can do in-person and online services are available.
The all-new sunny 98.7 FM WQEE Alabama joins important communication and family radio stations along with WQEE 99.1 FM.
Really? Good morning.
And WCCP Victory 100.3 FM Gospel in LaGrange, Georgia.
Sure is nice.
Local traditions and local communities. Jordan Communications bringing you the best in local entertainment. Hi, this is Art.
Good morning.
Tune in to Let Go and Let God every Sunday at 9:30 a.m. right here on WQEE. We help those who are struggling with their faith or have doubts through discussion, inspirational stories, and contemporary Christian.
What's up, Martin?
So tune in to Let Go and
Order
Let
of the
God
Sleepless
every
Nights.
Sunday
That's a
at
cool
9:30
name.
a.m.
What's up, brother? I hope you're not having a sleepless night. What's up, Martin? Elder Statesman. To you, Elder Statesman. Oh, work overnight. I can see. Well, thank you for your service working overnight, young man. Or sir. You got that right. Oh, what's up, everybody? TGIW, Weird Wednesday. We got two great guests coming up in period number 2 and period number 3 this morning. Our Ed McMahon is on this morning. I got to say hello to Martin up early. So where's the rest of you? I'll say hello to all of you too in a minute. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It's RyanORadio Penitentiary. I'm your host of the most, the one, the only, Ryan Neal, and of course, yes, I am the game, and you know it. 78,000 plus of you on the Shoutcast, Shout It Out Loud across that RyanORadio media page, which streams across iHeartRadio as well as Amazon Prime and, ladies and gentlemen, 22 other platforms there. We're across the British Columbia Isles of Canada, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, across the the Navajo nations of Earth Rock Radio, 25 different radio stations there across the Navajo Nation, Arizona, and New Mexico. We're across 99.1 FM's radio dial, WQEE in Atlanta and Metro Atlanta, and of course, the YouTube stream and Facebook stream. If you're not with us, I don't know where you're at. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. I am the man around here, whether they like it or not. We got a lot to talk about. We got Gwendolyn Kuhlmann coming on with us this morning in period number 2. She has got a fundraiser that they're helping out with those that had that tornado a few years ago. She's in the Atlanta market. She will be with us this morning in period number 2. We'll talk more about that. Plus, Horrifying History's one and only, the Horrifying History one and only Professor Brenda Ganske. I like to call her professor. She's really not a professor. She's a nurse by trade, but in the medical field, but she brings you the Horrifying History once a month, and we'll have her. She's going to talk about some stuff you guys really going to like, CIA and secret stuff there. That's coming up in the final period. Also this morning, we'll try to drop a little P Diddy stuff in. Yeah, he's done. He's diddied. He's diddied all right. We'll talk about that. Plus, the 2024 election run for the White House. We won't give you too much on there. We'll just give you some news, as well as we'll get deeper into that, but we have too many guests. So we'll let some of you guys get deeper into that later on both sides. We're radio first. I know you guys, didn't they used to do that back in the day? You guys asked? Yeah, I know, right? Some of you are old enough to remember that. You're like, yeah, I remember back in the day. All right. We'll say hello to everybody in a moment as well. Pull on the YouTube and everywhere else on the stream. We got that, and we'll talk about P Diddy, of course, and I'm going to get ready for Mr. McMahon. Mr. McMahon. Yeah, the 6-part series on Netflix that starts off about his career all the way to the assault case that's against him, and also human trafficking case. All that's included in this Netflix original series that's on Netflix debuting today. And I'm going to check that out and see if I can talk about it. Plus, we'll get deeper into some other things throughout the morning between our 2 interviews. So get ready for that. Martin M., early morning man. If you're not up like he is, we don't know where you stand. All right. It is the one, the only, bowing down to the elder statesman, my Ed McMahon. I appreciate him with us this morning. Big Q in the house. From Dunham, North Carolina, in the house. Love our people up in North Carolina. Love everybody everywhere. We got the Order of the Sleepless Nights. He works overnight. The Order of the Sleepless Nights. Welcome him in. Such a cool name. Sweet Leaf, good morning to you on the Navajo Nation. Sue, Tim, Bob, and Rodney K. They're always up with me. I appreciate them. Alice, David, Michael, and Tony, and as well as Helen up in Canada on the British Columbia Isles. Too many people to name on the 78,000 plus of you on the Shoutcast, so I'm not going to do that. We're going to say hello to Sarah down in New Zealand overnight, as well as Robert, Australia, down under. Kiko in Japan, konnichiwa. She's always listening. And it's after like 9 p.m. there. And South Wales is afternoon-wise there for Diana. Good afternoon to her. And she's got the boys today, becoming teenagers now. Wow. Ooh. Look out for that, young lady. Look out for that. So there you go. That's our wonderful listeners that we so far have. ABC from Russia's on with us on the YouTube. We'll appreciate him joining us this morning as well. Got a lot to get into. I got my coffee. I hope you got your coffee, your Red Bull, whatever is waking you up. If it's midday, maybe you're having a brunch or a lunch. And if it's the evening, maybe it's 5 o'clock somewhere there and you're having yourself a drink, whatever you're doing. We're all for you to do whatever you do. All right. Good morning to everybody. Good evening. Good afternoon. If I don't see you again, a very, very good night. Oh, well. Which is the scariest place to live here in the United States? 14% say Salem, Massachusetts, where the witch trials were. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, where there's supposedly Confederate and Union soldiers are still walking the fields and everything. 50% of the votes there. Flagstaff, Arizona, that's the coldest place in Arizona. And I could tell you because one of the hotels there is one of the most haunted hotels in the United States, and it's been featured on most haunted places. There are only 0% of the votes there. I love Flagstaff. It's also cold there, probably the coast Florida, Arizona, and any other places, 33%. Some of those other places might include Burkittsville, Massachusetts, loosely based. That area was loosely based for that film a few years ago that they're remaking, about going out in the woods and filming, and it was supposed to be a kid documentary. Yes. Savannah, Georgia, Pete says, good morning to Pete. That's one of the most scariest places to live. Martin says he votes Gettysburg. I've visited Gettysburg many a times. I have too. Good vote in there, brother. Good vote. Good morning to Ryan and the Navajo Nation and everyone else, says Pete. Pete from Noonan, doing the noon dance. Get ready for all that rain coming through too. We'll talk about that. 20 minutes past the hour. Current conditions, ladies and gentlemen. We're holding at 74 degrees right now, and it's going to be near 77 by 1 p.m. today with more rain in the forecast. You'll get a complete rundown of that. It's not just regular rain. Old Hurricane Helen is making herself known in our areas. And, of course, they're getting hit in Florida as we speak, so we'll keep you abreast of what's going on there. Prayers for our people down in Florida. And everything. Jacksonville is one of the places getting hit, and that's where Braves Country Radio's headquarters is for Matt McGee and the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're going to pray for our Armchair Quarterbacks and Matt McGee and his family and his little puppies as well. Praying for them in Jesus' name. Amen. Protect them today. All right. There you go. I don't want the wicked witch of the West to eat me, so Salem is what ABC says. There you go. Some of these are the scariest places to live. Scary places to live, indeed. I should have put Washington, D.C. on there. So, joking. Yeah, my listening audience can take a joke. I don't know about the rest of the world. That's a good one, right? We like it. You forgot to put that one on there. That's what I'm going to vote for you. I would have put it on there. But there you go. So. All right, going north into Atlanta. Just want to go ahead and get this going. North in Atlanta past Fairburn. I-85 is shut down if you're heading that way for work this morning. Just to let guys and gals know they're heading that way. You're going to have to find an alternate route to get to where you need to get to, because at Fairburn, this is from the Fairburn Police Department report this morning to us that, ladies and gentlemen, that I-85 north is shut down, mile marker 51 for the next few hours. This is coming from our friends at the Fairburn Police Department in Fairburn, Georgia. So there you go. A couple other newsworthy notes. Incident at I-85 right before Highway 74, a red alert in Fulton County. A crash is blocking. That happened about not too long ago. So there you go. All right. Good morning. One of my grandsons started working at a steel supplier. I told him not to lose his gloves and tape measures. That's so cool. Well, tell him to thank you for our service there. Yeah, everybody, we're going to thank everybody for their service and what they do. That's it, because everybody does something in our society. But I just want to get that local stuff out there to you. And there's more details going on in the case of the shooting that happened over the weekend at near a Oz gun weapons store. Supposedly now we know it happened upstairs in this building. I guess there was a apartment or what they used to call a mother-in-law suite. And it supposedly happened a little bit after 9. And supposedly the victim was standing above the perpetrator. But we're not going to get into any more details of that until we get a complete rundown from the Georgia Bureau of Investigations. I put my information in for them to let me know what's more going on. I'm going to try to get somebody from the GBI to let me know. I don't know if they can talk about it on the radio, but I'm going to get more information from them, and I have sent information to them as well. And they are the young lady that was the victim, Olivia Robinson, who has passed away on through to murder on Friday night, and they are getting ready to have her funeral, as well as, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of friends and family showed respect yesterday as they put signs up and flowers near where the murder occurred, right there in front of the shop. And you can see those pictures on the WQEE Facebook page. We'll keep you abreast more about what's going on with that as it comes details to us. I do have a little bit more, but I don't want to get it out there on the air until I am for certain that this is 100% and everything. So, and I'll probably tell you who's going to be defending the defendant in the near future. Terry, what's up from Australia, down under? Thank you, Terry. We appreciate you being with us, being part of the RyanORadio Penitentiary. You're in lockdown now, so if you leave, I'm going to send dogs out. Who let the dogs out? Woo, 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 woo. There you go. That's what I'm saying. There you go. All right, this is some of the stuff that's going on. 74 degrees at about 25 minutes past the hour. Time and temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control. Summer, winter, spring, fall. We don't care for those rodents, critters, or gooey things at all. After the break, we're going to talk a little bit about the P Diddy and Suge Knight. You know, Tupac Shakur. All you guys remember that day, back in the day when everything was hip and cool. Well, Suge Knight has some information that he feels is relevant to what happened between Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck. We'll get into that. But this morning, some of the headline news for you. Colorado supermarket shooter found guilty of killing 10 people, sentenced to life in prison. Joe Biden's Pentagon, Joe Biden says the Pentagon is investing $5 million annually into women's health research. Also, ladies and gentlemen, more than 550 people killed, 18,000 injured as Israel continues its campaign across Gaza. The Jacksonville Jaguars head coach, Doug Peterson, has some personal feelings, and he teased them out after the blowout loss to the Bills. We gave you yesterday our thoughts on the NFL, and I got picks to click between Bali and Cher. Thank them for participating since Richard was off. Commanders quarterback Jalen Daniels calls for the record-setting Bengals win, and they're hoping to keep this continuing moving forward. In other headline news this morning, ladies and gentlemen, former President Donald Trump was standing outside a grocery store in Pennsylvania handing out cash. He said to them, "This is what we're going to do from the White House." VP Harris has seen a double-digit increase in popularity since announcing that bid to take over for current President Biden in the 2024 presidential race after polls showed that she is very popular. Wow. And those are some of the news sources right there. M&M has introduced a brand new candy that's going to be coming out, just to let you guys know, in stores nationwide beginning this month or beginning in October. PB&J, peanut butter and jelly M&Ms. It's 9:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 p.m. Wednesday in Australia, says Terry. Good. It's evening there and morning here. So there you go. And that's some of the headlines around the world for you. We've got some other headlines we'll get into, and we're going to talk about P Diddy in just a few moments. Yes, also Mr. McMahon. Well, the debut of his 6-part docuseries is on Netflix as we speak, and I'm going to check it out later today so I can talk more about it either tomorrow or later on. All right, that's my candy company, Ryan. M&M, that's right. It is your candy company, Martin. Oh, my God, candy, no way. Yes. Yes, indeed. That's the final peanut butter and jelly candy. There you go. Yes, Puffy. What's happening? After the break, we'll talk about Puff Daddy or Piff Daddy or P Diddy. P Diddy, did he do it or did he didn't? He's going to tell on everybody. That's what they're saying. He discovered the bead. And also, according to Suge Knight, you know, the man that went to jail for a little bit for some violence and stuff and had Tupac on his record label. Feels like P Diddy had something to do with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez's sudden departure of one another. We'll get into all that after the break, ladies and gentlemen. Stay with us. More on the way is the RyanORadio Penitentiary. Hey, is there an Anna on with us this morning? Oh, yes. Polly, good morning to you, brother. How you doing? 26-page indictment against P Diddy. That's right, 26 pages. Him and Jeffrey Epstein's. All these I got to say, you may work your butt off at whatever job you guys got out there. Just think about it. And remember that old, aren't you glad I didn't say Apple thing? Well, aren't you glad you never became famous? They would have used you. Republican, Democrat, no matter what, whether you were so-called Christian, Catholic, or they're all satanic. All of that stuff out there. P. Diddy, we'll talk about him after the break. It hasn't been talked about much, but I'm going to get into it. And Ben Affleck, Jennifer Lopez. Suge Knight feels like something happened. We'll tell you. Back in a moment.
Summer, winter, spring, fall, we don't care for those rodents, critters, and gooey things at all. Light rain this morning, thunder showers developed by the afternoon.
Hey, it's better not to be famous, Terry. It's better just to be somebody that's out here working your butt off. Yes, we complain that we don't get paid enough. Yes, everything's expensive. Yes, all this different stuff going on, but it's better than them coming in saying, all right, you want to be famous? You got a little talent? All right, we're going to control you. We're going to destroy you. P. Diddy's got a lot of people on his list, too. It is crazy. P. Diddy's got a lot on his plate. You feel bad for him. He's the one that did it, Bolly. You can't just abuse people. Suge Knight is saying something against this guy. I mean, Suge Knight. You know he's bad when Suge Knight talks about it. Suge ain't worried. He's gangster. He'll say anything. He ain't worried about it.
NMLS number 410611. And newly, wow, what will matter?
Well, the main thing is all of these rich people become famous and take advantage of other people that want to be famous. They're just, a lot of them are evil. Also watched, I'll check out what you were talking about, Pete. I didn't forget what you said, brother. I hope you're still there. I'll check that series out. I also watched a series called Out There, Crimes of the Paranormal. That is something good on Hulu. They talked about how all these conspiracy theories are running people crazy and they're doing crimes. Well, I'd believe it on any of them. But if he didn't do it, he can prove he didn't do it if his name's not there. But Diddy's going to call everybody out. Wait, he's going to start calling people out. Suge Knight ain't going to be one of them, though. Should be like, all right, California. All right, Compton, let's go take him out. Take out the evil. Just thought they were the bad guys, huh? Tupac needs to come back from the dead. RFK is suing who? I didn't know RFK was involved with Diddy either. What's up, the Patriot? What's up, Carlos? Tell your brother Joe we said hey. Cumberland, Maryland is one of the spookiest towns in the U.S. It's where they filmed The Night of the Living Dead. I work there all the time. There you go. There's another one. Whoa, yeah. Oh, I won't make it on time. What's up, ladies and germs? I'm Saved by the Bell as well. Welcome back in. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. We welcome in, of course, Bali as well as the Patriot. Carlos, good morning to him and his brother Joe. I know Joe is checking us out. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. We'll get into the poll question in just a few moments. Two great guests coming up on this edition of the RyanORadio Penitentiary. Gwendolyn Kuhlmann will join us from, of course, the organization that's putting out a wonderful film called Seasons of Strength, which is going to benefit those in the city of Holmes after that EF4 tornado we had a few years ago. We'll talk with her in period number 2 about what they're doing. She's calling from out of Atlanta, so we'll have her this morning. And in the final period, it's going to be Brenda Ganske from Horrifying History. She and I are going to talk about the CIA and some secret stuff there and some unusual things. It's going to be a cool morning. Horrifying History with Brenda Ganske, the professor. Get ready to take notes later on. Tropical storm Helen is expected to intensify beginning today in our area, of course, around Florida, Atlanta, and up into Atlanta area. The National Weather Service has issued an alert regarding this tropical storm, which forecasts to intensify in the next 24 to 48 hours in the eastern portion of the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll keep you abreast to what's going on with that. I'm expecting more rain to come in and everything to that, where keep everybody in their thoughts and prayers. As we head into our P Diddy of the morning talk in just a moment, which is the scariest place to live in the United States. The Patriot came on. He said, Cumberland, Maryland is where it's a small little town in the United States where they film Night of the Living Dead. He works there all the time, and it's creepy as whoop. Of course, Pete said earlier, Savannah, Georgia, which is the scariest places in the world. Salem are places to live in the United States, I should say. 19% of you are saying Salem, Massachusetts, where the witch trials were. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania's got 25% of the votes, where supposedly Union and Confederate soldiers still roam around there. And Flagstaff, Arizona's got 12% of the votes. The 12% going there because it's always cold. It's the only cold part of Arizona. And there's a haunted hotel that was featured worldwide there, all over scariest places in the world, the United States. There you go. And other 41% of the vote. Daniel said, Portland, Oregon, land of the woke mob. That's not quite as scary as a living dead. We got a lot of living dead all everywhere. That is pretty funny, though. I don't know if it's scary, but it's scary in the sense that it's scary because it's like, wow, really, kid, you got to be that woke. That's the scary part about it. It's like, really? God, I got to go somewhere else. Good morning, brothers. Daniel, my Missouri man, and Kansas City fan. Good morning to you. New beginning. How you doing this morning? There you go. Oh, well, Daniel made me laugh this morning. He took your spot, Ed McMahon Martin. Daniel took over as my new sidekick there for a minute. Made me laugh. All right. Wow, you got a drug that's come there. Wow. New beginning. I want to visit Gettysburg and see the ghost army from the Civil War days. Yeah, they say you can, but you might can hear it. But I think that if you're out on a camping trip there on the outskirts of Gettysburg, where they set it up as a museum / they've got the land where they supposedly fought set up for people to ride around and see different monuments and stuff. There's a campsite next to it, and all night you can hear, quote, war going on. So I don't know if they just putting it out there in the speakers or what they're doing. It was a long time ago. Terry says, I love The Walking Dead. A lot of people do. Never mind. I'm not going to get into that. I was going to pick on him one more time, but he's retired. So. All right, let's see. Let's talk about this. Speaking of The Walking Dead, P Diddy might be The Walking Dead. Oh, P Diddy got in trouble. The federal government coming after him again. He's got to sell his home out there. You guys remember Suge Knight? You remember Suge Knight? Suge Knight. 1 year anniversary of McMahon Radio has finally passed copyright. Woo! Congratulations, brother. I will post it soon. Don't miss it, Ryan. I bet you will love this one, brother. I will be there, Patriot, for you. I will be there, brother. Anyway, you remember Suge Knight, everybody. David says, I can handle the ghosts and goblins. I got Jesus. The woke alphabet people are way worse. He's going to handle that. Suge Knight killed Tupac. Well, they say he did. I don't know if he did or didn't. But they had a guy that come out and admitted to it a few years ago and everything finally. But you guys remember Tupac, right? And you remember Suge Knight, who was his boss. So he worked on his record label. Suge Knight is sitting there saying that the reason Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez broke up is because some tapes P Diddy had on her. All right, guys, stop it. I know some of you men out there want to see these tapes for yourself, see what kind of evidence it is. Calm down, gentlemen. She's no longer a married woman, but, you know, maybe the single guys out there can check it out, but you married guys don't need to. Someday, all right. Ben Affleck was given tapes of Jennifer Lopez from P. Diddy after raids by the FBI, according to Suge Knight. The former Death Row Records CEO said that Affleck is now in possession of tapes and information that has played a crucial role in straining the couple's relationship. Ooh, Suge Knight is concerned about Batman and his real Wonder Woman's relationship. Wow. You know what? Suge Knight's like, look, back in the day, man, I came from Compton. I mean, we smoked a little pot. We sold a little drugs. But, man, we never did any of this sicko stuff P. Diddy and Epstein did. Because women actually wanted our guys. Oh! Didn't have to force them. Oh! I don't want to see anything Diddy taped. I know, right? Thank you, Daniel. You're a good guy. Oh my goodness. But yeah, Justin Timberlake, this has nothing to do with it. His license been suspended after his DUI charges in New York. But federal authorities raided Diddy's house in March. Diddy was arrested September 16th. He is charged with racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Claims that are coming from former girlfriends and people like that. He had this thing called freak-offs. Freak-offs. He's got this thing called freak-offs. I wonder if any of the current administrations on the left and the right are a part of this. If they would, it wouldn't matter because, people on the Epstein list are still out here doing things, right? So it really don't matter who P Diddy turns in, then he's still going to go to jail. I got enough money, I can get away with things. Look, got enough money, people won't even talk about you. If you were some poor nobody living in a trailer park or in a common apartment complex or whatever, heck, you'd be going to jail in a skinny minute for all this. But because they got money, they're going to get away with it. They all did. The Epstein people did. Everything did. There's a lot of people on that Epstein's list that people say, I just don't believe they did. And they were on that list. And they were. So, my freak off is renovating my kitchen, different words. There you go, Jim H. Jail for the rich and famous is not jail. You got that right, New Beginnings. Or even just people rich people with money don't have to worry about it. I don't know why it is, but it is. But all of you regular folks in here, they be coming after you guys. These hard-working, everyday folks that I call heroes, because I call you guys heroes, right? They're like, why you salute them and say thank you for their service, right? Because they're the ones that's keeping our society going. Everybody from Daniel to truck driving Terry. Even Martin, who's retired, he kept us going for a while. My brother King, he's farming here in farmland, and he's raising, chickens and just all kind of meat, all kind of things. He's doing something for our society. So those are the people that do. But there you go. Suge Knight's just calling it out. Everybody, well, Suge Knight be scared? No, he's not going to be scared. He ran Death Row Records. He had Tupac and Biggie. You think he's scared of the freak off people? What if the freak off people try to go after him? You're like, come on, man. Really? I could just see Suge Knight's face. You gonna come after me? I'm over here in Compton, buddy. Come on. Us little people don't matter. Rich people run the world. Yes, they do. I will welder them to their seat if they try to come after me. Well, if you did something wrong, you would get it. You'd have to have them come after you. TBH, as a veteran, I feel strange when people thank me for my service. I appreciate their being nice. More of me a problem. You, Jim H, you are a hero, my brother. Without you, I wouldn't be able to run my mouth. And none of us would be able to. I know it's a bit strange for you, but I always like to thank everybody. It's just how I am. So there you go. Man, they should make those famous people go to China or somewhere they're not known, and they will be treated more like us, more like you and I. So, yeah, right. I know, right? Yeah. I agree 110%. We got a couple of great guests coming up this morning. We've got Gwendolyn Kuhlmann. She is with an organization that is helping out here. They're raising funds to help out Season of Strength in the wake of the EF4 tornado that hit Noonan a few years ago. We're going to talk about this organization coming up in period number 2. That's coming up at the top of the hour, right up the top of the hour. She and I are going to speak about that. We're going to find out what she's doing. She's a former resident of Noonan here who went on. She's living in Atlanta. She's lived in Berlin, Germany, as well as she was an opera singer in Berlin, Germany. So we got a professional there. And she's lived all over. So, and family, she had family here, parents that were affected by this tornado a few years ago. So I'll tell you what they're doing and what they're bringing together. And how you can help out with donations out there, folks. But stay with us, more on the way. We got still the second half of this period to come, or the rest of this period to come. Stay with us, more on the way as the RyanORadio Penitentiary cruises on. Which is the scariest place to live in the United States? 26% say Salem, Massachusetts, where the witch trials happen. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, 21% of those votes were, of course, that was the battle of Gettysburg between the Union and the Confederate soldiers, and they say there's some still roaming there. 10% going to Flagstaff, Arizona, with one of the most haunted hotels in that area. And Flagstaff is the only place in Arizona that stays cold. Woo! 10% of votes, and 48 going out percent to others. Hokey pokey, good morning to you. Back in a moment.
Earn some sweet Southern rewards. Check out the Southern Rewards cashback account from Southern States Bank, where debit card transactions earn you cash back. With our Southern Rewards cashback account, you can earn up to $30 a month.
Freak off. Let's freak off. You know what? Do you know what the mysterious spot is, Ryan? No, I don't. What is the mysterious spot? Is that the spot men can't find on women? Bermuda Triangle is a very weird place, but they prove in fact that storms and stuff cause people to go down, and they found a lot of those missing ships and stuff. I've been through Baltimore, scary for Canada. Canadian. I hear you. New Beginning said it's a place in America where gravity seems to not work. Ah, I think I know what you're talking about. Bixby, Arizona, where the copper mines are haunted as well.
Sun News can be found in your local businesses throughout the area. The best advertising rates. Start your subscription today at epaper.wilcoxnewspaper.com or 334-864-8885.
EPD, well, the P Diddy. Yeah, I just talked about some of that stuff. We talked about Ben Affleck having some tapes that P Diddy sent him of Jennifer Lopez, and Suge Knight says he feels like that's what damaged their relationship. Suge Knight would come out and talk about it. Especially if people felt like he killed Tupac. Suge Knight be like, look, I'm over here in Compton. I don't care. I'm safe. Safest place in California. At least in 2024 it is. Where is told. Ooh, nukes. Now that's scary, Bolly. Exactly. Hokey. That's exactly right. You're a poet there, my friend. I love it. I'm scared of nuke wars too. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Welcome back into RyanORadio Penitentiary on this TGI Weird Wednesday. We'll get you some weird news here in just a few too. But before we get into that, we're going to have some great guests. We've got two great guests. First coming up, we're going to have Gwendolyn Kuhlmann. She is one of the founders of an organization called where they got Seasons of Strength, where they're helping out those in need after an EF4 tornado hit the city homes a few years back. We'll talk with her. And plus, Brenda Ganske from Horrifying History joins us this morning. You guys got to stay tuned for this. Get your pens and papers ready. We're going to dive deeper into the CIA and some strange stuff and mysterious things. That's coming up this morning on the RyanORadio Penitentiary with our good friend, Brenda Ganske. I like to call her the professor from Horrifying History. All right. Good morning, Randy. How you doing this morning? What you doing, brother? Fear not who can destroy the body, not him. There you go. Daily Bible verse coming up for you. As for those of you, brought to you by Noonan City Church. I'm going to go ahead and drop this as Noonan City Church. Noonan City Church, 17 First Avenue, here in the metro Atlanta area of Noonan. Services each and every Sunday morning, 3 times, 8 a.m., 9 a.m., and 10:30 a.m., and Sunday evenings at 6:30 p.m. transforming lives for Jesus' sake. Going to read that for New Beginnings here in just a few moments. But Randy says, for thus says the Lord God, I myself will search for my sheep and will seek them out. Ezekiel 34:11. There you go. That's today's daily Bible verse. Anna Marie, good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Noon and dance for her. All right, my brother New Beginnings says the mysterious spot is a tourist attraction near Santa Cruz, California, opened in 1939 by George Prather. Visitors experienced demonstrations that appear to defy gravity. Woo! I love it. I love it. We're talking about that. That's part of our scariest places to vote on this morning in the world to live, or in the United States. Which is the scariest place in the United States to live? Salem, Massachusetts, 23%. Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, 18%. Flagstaff, Arizona, 9%. And any other at 50%. There you go. Poopy Pie, what's up? Thank you for being with us. Guys are just joining us. We got two great guests this morning and a lot of stuff in between that. What are your thoughts on 2 moons in September? 2 moons, that's a good one. Yes, according to some of our researchers that are on here, and I believe some of the people on here that get into astrology and everything, they said that we've always had 2 moons, but I think this is the first time we're going to actually get to see them in a long time at the same time. It's going to be unique beginning at the end of September, and it's supposed to be going through, November? It's supposed to be. So in the next few days, that's supposed to happen. Now, there may be some other people that have different thoughts on it, and we might get into those later on too. Poopy Pie is doing her cardio as always. As always. Can any of the views listeners visit the mystery spot and let us know if it actually something? Yes, guys, do that for me. We got some people in California that live there. California knows how to party. All right, so we'll have all this coming up for you. Gwendolyn is next. That's coming up at the top of the hour. We're currently holding at 74 degrees under kind of cloudy skies. No rain yet. Rain is expected to come in, coming off a hurricane, tropical storm, Helen, I should say. And ladies and gentlemen, that tropical storm is hitting up parts of Florida right now as we speak. Going to get some flooding in our area. Time and temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control. Summer, winter, spring, fall. We don't care for those rodents, critters, gooey things at all. Michael the crew can exterminate and lay the smack down for you. Heading up 5 minutes to the top of the hour. 2 moons and a flat earth. Well, not a flat earth now, Patriot, but there is 2 moons that are going to be appearing. But flat earth, I'm not into that either. So, but if somebody else says Patriot, you and I, we don't judge nobody. That's us. We don't do that. Everybody else does, but we don't. Student removed from Evans Middle School here after allegedly gun comment. Evans Middle School administrators acted quickly Monday after a student claimed to have a firearm. Man, these firearms are getting to be dangerous. I mean, kids are getting to be dangerous just saying they have firearms. A homeless campfire sparks gunfire nearby a school, goes into lockdown on Monday morning. Here in the metro Atlanta area. Noon, you can check out these on the WQEE page. Plus, more details on the shooting and murder over the weekend at the Oz Gun Shop and everything. There's details to that there was an upstairs, I guess you would call a mother-in-law suite, that supposedly the victim was standing over the perpetrator's bed. I don't know. No details on how they knew each other or anything to that source, but the GBI is still investigating that, and I'm getting more details. I do have a little bit more details, but I'm not going to put them out there on the air until I get the official words. But I do know how the shooting happened, where it happened, and it just doesn't seem like if they're going to use a, quote, PTSD defense, and it just doesn't make sense. But, hey, people have to do what they have to do, I guess. We'll keep you updated on that. So there you go. Wow. You guys, your police lost 200 firearms? Well, if you're close enough to the American border, it was just some of us Americans went over there and picked them up. Oh, that's pretty cool guns, buddy. Go hunting with them. You know how we are. You know how we are, Patriot. Like, this is pretty good gun. Let's just... All right, back in a moment. Stay with us. Wow, they lost him.
Right. This is where projects come to life. Our showrooms are designed to inspire with the latest products from top brands.
Randy, I love you, brother. Thank you for dropping in positivity every morning. I know some people don't agree with it and all that kind of stuff. Hey, I do, so. Just to let you guys know, keep sharing, liking, and subscribing if you can get more people on. Because guess what? I am now with the YouTube Partner Program. The more people watching this, they're going to be able to pop some commercials on us, and that's going to help the show out. Yeah, I lost all my guns in an unfortunate boating accident. Actually, it says gins, but I know what you meant. Here you go, Patriot. I know you're not awake yet. Get your coffee.
MasterCard applies their technology, products, and services to help create a world where everyone, everywhere has equal access to opportunity. I'm always talking about financial empowerment.
Opportunity. This person on here just sounds weird.
Has collaborated with MasterCard to share how
Sounds like somebody I've heard
tools and
before.
resources support communities around the United States. To learn more about how MasterCard's
MasterCard.
committed to helping narrow the wealth and opportunity gap, visit mastercard.com/solidarity.
What's up, Gail?
President Trump is talking about his plans for the economy in Savannah, Georgia.
Let me, here we go.
Tuesday, Trump told his supporters he wants to take other countries' jobs.
Will create millions and millions of jobs, massively raise wages for American workers, and bring the United States into a
Well, I don't care if we take everybody else's job.
like it used to be many years ago.
Trump said
Gwen, Gail says if they require all clear book bags, yep, that's what I say. Book bags, purses, totes, wouldn't that limit bringing guns to school, into schools, buildings, etc.? Yes, it would. That's a good way to do it. Yeah, it would.
Tropical storm Lane could be a Category 3 hurricane before it makes landfall sometime Thursday night in Florida. A lake is expected to intensify over the eastern Gulf of Mexico and become
That's exactly right. That's a good one.
then expected to approach
Eating cats. They're not eating cats.
Tallahassee, which is now under hurricane.
Yes, that's a joke. It wasn't real. It State even said it wasn't. But it's funny. I saw somebody yesterday say, yeah, it may not be true, but it sure did make me laugh. I'm like, okay, all right. Yeah, if that's what it does, I'm okay.
This was according to the IDF, one of the senior commanders of Hezbollah's missile project.
Stream Elements. I was going to watch Fire Daddy, but he's not went live yet. Oh, sorry. Well, now you got to be in here with the radio people. Sorry about that.
Being released for the Ryan Coogler film Sinners. The film stars Michael B. Jordan is set in the South in the 1960s.
Yeah, we're being responsible for ourselves. Yep. Well, I mean, they require clear bags at sporting events. Yeah, football, they do that, don't they? Yeah. Should be for the schools, too. Well, I think would be the right thing to do. That would be safe for them. All right.
That's the certainty of 4imprint. Discover more at 4imprint.com and find some wow now. 4imprint for certainty.
She should be calling here momentarily. That's what WQEE Radio.
Hey, it's Gwendolyn.
Hey, Gwendolyn, how you doing this morning?
Doing good?
Good. Well, we're off the air right now, except for a little bit behind the scenes on the YouTube. But so we'll get ready to go on in just a few moments.
Okay.
And your last name is Kuhlmann?
Yes, Kuhlmann, you got it.
Kuhlmann.
I got to tell people, it sounds like cool.
Yeah, Kuhlmann. I knew of a name like that. There used to be a 70s pastor that had that last name.
Ah,
That's why I figured that's what it was. Her name was Kuhlmann, Catherine Kuhlmann. So
okay.
So I knew the name, and everybody else like, what? I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't know how to pronounce your last name and everything, but I was like, I want to make sure that's what it is because it's the same spelling. So
Yeah. And it's funny, when I lived in Berlin, I still had my maiden name as Reed. And nobody knew how to say it there because it's R-E-I-D.
Right.
And German pronunciation was Zeit. So I was always called Zeit. And then I took my husband's name, and I was Kuhlmann for a few years until we moved to America, and then I became Kuhlmann. Kuhlmann? Or is it Kuhlmann? What? I don't know what to do with their name.
Well, you know how it is. That people say, see, my last name is Shelander. So that's why I go Ryan O'Neal on the air. Some people call me Shelander. They used to call me Shoelander. I was like, there's no O in there. So that's why I always like to get the last names right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel, for that donation or thumbs up or whatever it was. Thank you. Andrew Bolanos, good morning, my lovely bride. But yes. So, all right. So what we'll do is we'll just come on. We'll talk about a little bit of your background, and then we'll get into the project and all that kind of stuff. We got plenty of time, so don't feel rushed.
How much time do we have?
We got plenty of time. We got as much time as we need. So,
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we are an open door here. I don't have a guest I got another guest in the next hour. So we got as much time this hour as you need the first 15, 20 minutes or so. So just take your time with it and everything. I always like to get my guests on and give them time to let everybody hear what they're talking about and not go, what? Huh? What was that person? What do they want?
Oh, they're not. Okay, never mind.
Yeah, because,
Thank you so much for that.
No problem. I do that. I like to do it with all my guests because I want everybody because people come on at different times and they start turning the radio on at different times. So, I mean, if they come on in the middle of a interview and they don't know who you are and you're just finishing up, it might be something they're interested in.
Yeah. Are you going to play the video first, or are we going to go into that? What is your plan with that?
Yeah, I'm just going. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come on and do my intro like I always do for my show for each hour, and then I'm gonna pop back and do your video, and then with that we'll go from there.
All right, sounds good to me.
No problem. Because I got it all set up and ready to go. Good morning, Terry. Good morning, Anna Marie. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Like, subscribe, and share. And thank you, Daniel, for the $2.99. Thank you, brother. Daniel is now you guys are able to get on here and put the little star stuff on the YouTube and all the pretty little things that the youngsters know what they're doing. On the radio station page. We thank you guys. Let's see here. Pull this up here. Andrew Bolanos, my lovely bride, did you still there? Andrew, you're gonna love her last name. Listen up. Her husband's last name. You're gonna love it. I'll let everybody know once we get back on the air. All the stream sites are not hooked up to the YouTube. They're listening to commercials, guys.
somewhere between $80 and $200 billion next year. Because they were financed at very, very low rates, near zero. And now they'll have to enjoy. The views and opinions of this show and program are not the views and opinions of this station, its management, or its clientele.
Yes, can we have quiet on the set there? It's time for period number 2 to go underway, ladies and gentlemen, because yes, it is awesome. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. If I'll see you again, a very, very good night. Welcome into RyanORadio Penitentiary and lockdown. All of you guys are. We're across the Shoutcast, Shout It Out Loud with 78,000 plus of you worldwide there. The RyanORadio media page, which includes us on iHeartRadio as well as Amazon Prime and 22 other streaming platforms. We're across the British Columbia Isles of Canada, and of course, Earth Rock Radio, New Mexico, Arizona, and the Navajo Nation with 25 different radio station affiliates there. We're included on 99.1 here in Atlanta at WQEE Metro Atlanta, 99.1, home of Southern sports, inspirational talk, and real news. You're inside the RyanORadio Penitentiary on YouTube, Facebook, and everywhere else too. So like, subscribe, and share there. We're getting period number 2 underway at about 10 minutes past the hour. 74 degrees out there. Tablet temperature brought to you by Active Pest Control. Summer, winter, spring, fall. We don't care for those rodents, critters, and gooey things at all. Back here in a moment. Let's kick it off. Our special guest is next. Stay tuned.
Has been through a lot since the tornado. Seasons of Strength is about our resilience. It's not only about the night that the tornado hit. It's about how we showed up for each other right after the storm and how we kept showing up, even through the smog of long-term recovery. It's also about asking each other the questions. Who are we now that we've been through this together? How do we see each other? What have we learned? What is our hope for the future? We each have a story to tell, and Seasons of Strength is your invitation to tell it, to have it documented and archived, and then to see it reflected back to you and celebrate it with music, dancing, and visual art. So we invite you to be part of this, because we simply cannot do this without you. To keep the project alive, we need to raise $3,000 by September 30th. We need your help now, or this project can't happen. This is your story. Help us tell.
Welcome back into RyanORadio Penitentiary. Yes, Seasons of Strength was a project born in the wake of the EF4 tornado that struck our beloved city of Homs. And our guest this morning is part of this organization, and she is also a native of Noonan, Gwendolyn Kuhlmann. Good morning, Gwendolyn.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for being with us here this morning. And of course, we played the video there and the audio of that video. And I want to get into a little bit of what Seasons of Strength is. But first, we want to know a little bit about you, your connection to our hometown here. And I noticed that you an opera singer too. So I want to get into a little bit about your background. So tell us a little bit about Gwendolyn.
Sure. So we moved to Noonan when I was 10 in 1995. And I went to Western Elementary and then Evans Middle School and then Noonan High School. And I graduated from Noonan High in 2003. I came up through Kathy Bazaar's choral program, through David Kinray's youth choir program over at First Methodist Church in Noonan. And I just discovered there that I had a knack for singing. And, you know, what do you do with that? Well, you go to school for singing, right?
Right.
So, I went to Columbus State University for my undergrad and got my degree in singing and in vocal performance. music, and I learned how to speak German there, and I thought, I wonder what it's like to live over there, to live over in Europe,
Right.
Where there's just this whole world around classical music. And
Right.
so I moved over there, and a month in, I fell in love.
Uh-oh.
And so I stayed, and I lived in Berlin for about 10 years, and worked in professional opera choruses, and did some solo work as well. And then we moved back to America. My German husband was like, "I'm tired of the weather. Get out of my country. Get out of my country." And we moved to California first.
Right.
And we beat pandemics in California. Right before that, we had a kid.
Right.
And it was kind of in that time where I was discovering, like, what do I want to do with this art form that I've now worked on for almost 15 years?
Right.
Like, what is it that I actually have to say with it? And I was looking around at the things going on in the world and thinking, what can I even do about this? Like, I have a degree in classical music. How can I have any sort of impact at all?
Right.
And so I started experimenting, and I put together a concert using this beautiful series of songs about being cast out, homeless, and heartbroken in the dead of winter.
Right.
Which is this height of German romanticism, written by Schubert in 1850s.
Right.
And I linked it with the stories of women who had been homeless as mothers
Right.
in the Bay Area. So I interviewed these women. I interviewed 5 women. I took clips from those interviews because I recorded them, and I kind of wove them into this live performance. So there's this interplay between this poetry and this music about, being out in nature and seeing all of your feelings of heartbreak in the nature and feeling alone, and these women's stories of how they get through the day, how they teach their kids that they matter,
Right.
how they try to provide for their kids, how they try to get a roof over their head, and it really showed me that works, that when we empower people to tell their stories, and when we use our art form, whatever we have, to uplift and underline what they're saying, then it turns into a whole nother art form that is powerful and moving. And when I moved back to Georgia,
Right.
when I moved back to Georgia, it was a week after the tornado.
Right.
And I actually happened to be in the middle of this massive campaign for one of the women that I interviewed.
Right.
They had a chance to become a homeowner through this new law that they had passed in the state legislature.
Right.
To give people who were renting foreclosed homes the chance to buy their home out of foreclosure. And all organizations who, advocate for housing in California were like, this is a great law, but it needs funding, or it's not going to be feasible because foreclosed homes are sold in auction. And so the person who says, okay, I'm going to buy my home out of foreclosure needs to come up with all the money at once in order to buy that house. So most people renting a home that goes into foreclosure probably can't do that. So we were organizing to do it for the first time for someone using this new law, and show
Right.
the California state legislature, hey, look, this is a nice idea, but let's try and make it work. And here's a way that maybe we could. And I was in the middle of that campaign, raising like $200,000 for this.
Wow.
For this woman's house.
Right.
And meanwhile, going on, and a tornado has hit the city that I'm living in at the time.
Right.
And I'm just in this surreal phase of like watching community come together in this huge way on the other side of the country at this point, because I'm basically just running the social media, running the communications, trying to make sure that everyone hears about this woman in our house. And I'm seeing all these people show up out of the woodwork in Berkeley, California.
Right.
Because she was a counselor at Berkeley schools. And so she had this impact on all these people in Berkeley and their children. And they were just showing up for her en masse. And
wow.
like, then here I am in Newton, and I'm looking around, and there's all these people showing up for each other.
Yes.
En masse, like, out, like,
yep.
sawing down trees, like all the things that we saw people doing. And I remember just thinking, it's community. Like, Jocelyn, the name of this woman, her riches were in her community. And Newton's riches, Coweta County's riches are in our community.
Right.
In the way that we show up for each other. And like, that's our capital, right?
Right.
And I thought, I want to tell a story about this. I want to tell this story. And I felt called, I felt charged. I felt it laid upon my soul that I needed to do this with the tools that I had already received from making my first project. And so I started looking into it. I started researching. We ended up moving to Atlanta, but I'm still rooted in Newton. My family is
right.
there, my parents. And I started driving down to Newton, interviewing some folks who had been in leadership for the NGOs. So your Bridging the Gap, River Life, Coweta Community Foundation, Red
right.
Cross. I started interviewing them and getting a sense of like, what is the story here? You know, what is the story as like from the people who have been going through it?
Right.
And I really saw it is a story of community. It is a story of how we show up for each other. And it's not always easy. There
right.
are some places that were hard. Some people who are still going through stuff that is really hard because of the tornado. I'm very aware that right now in this moment, there's a lot of people who survived the tornado and are watching the weather coming in.
Yes.
And, you know, still feeling the effects of that.
Yes.
And feeling the fear that comes from having been through something like this and then watching weather like this coming in. And
exactly.
And my heart is with you if you're listening to this and you're feeling that. Part of what this project is about is inviting you to get the story out, to just lay it all out there and have someone else be there with you to hear it and to hold space for it. And to know that it's an oral history project, which
right.
means we're collecting all these stories. We're inviting anyone in Coweta County who was here during the storm or in the years afterwards and was involved in the recovery
right.
to come and tell their stories about it. So to get it, there's something about getting it out of you, kind of a therapeutic concept, but
yes.
that when we can just be seen with our story, nothing else has to happen but to be seen in our stories. And that something starts to move within us. And I believe in that. I've experienced it myself. I've seen the empowerment that comes from that. We're collecting interviews until April.
Okay.
And then what we're going to do with those interviews is put them in an oral history. It's going to be archived and stored for people to be able to access for years to come. And we're going to select clips and play them in a live performance
Okay.
of Vivaldi's Four Seasons, recomposed by Max Richter. So Vivaldi's Four Seasons is this orchestral suite. I know a lot of people listening here are like more into classic rock, but what's interesting about this piece is that it's literally everywhere in our culture. It's
Right.
It's part of the air we breathe. We're hearing it. We don't even realize we're hearing it. And it's been recomposed
Right.
by a modern composer named Max Richter. And you've also heard this recomposition,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're on TikTok, if you're watching Instagram Reels.
Yep.
It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And what's great about it is Max Richter is a film composer,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's really easy to like play the voice speaking over it
Mm-hmm.
without feeling like the two things are really competing. And there's a real drive to the music that if you like rock, you're gonna kind of like that. There's this kind of rhythmic drive to the way he composes. And
Right. Wow.
everything all right?
Yeah, everything. Yeah, they're just excited you're here. So
Yay!
they're like, somebody's talking about they're talking about Noonan here. Yay. So, but anyway.
So yeah, we're basically weaving the voices of our community into a live symphonic performance.
Excellent.
To where basically we become part of the piece. And what I love about it being the Four Seasons is that there were these seasons of recovery. There was like the night the storm hit, obviously.
Yes.
What's cool about Vivaldi's Four Seasons is that summer actually starts with a storm.
Yep.
Like you hear it in the music. Each movement is based off of a poem, actually, and the poem about summer is about a storm. So summer starts with a storm, and then autumn is basically the music of the initial response, the initial recovery,
Right.
the way everyone was showing up for each other. Winter is great music for a slog, so
Right.
it's the slog of long-term recovery. And then spring is the renewal.
Yep.
Spring is where we are now, where we're looking around at each other. And like I said in the video, who are we now that we've been through this together?
Exactly.
And I think this chance to kind of, look at each other after all of this and say, wow, we went through that. We did that, and we did it together.
Right.
I think it can be powerful.
It is. Well, I tell you, this is something that we definitely want to know more about, how some of the stories can be involved. Some of our listeners are asking these questions and everything, and how they can get in touch with you about their time here, because I was here when it happened. The station went off the air. That was pretty much all we had effect. But I just remember seeing everybody grabbing their chainsaws, Gwendolyn, and going and helping cut trees out of people's homes and stuff to that sort. And I remember the aftermath of the concert from a hometown boy here, Alan Jackson,
Jackson, yeah.
Yes, coming into town. So, and to get up there, you knew he was a hometown boy because he knew everything about Noonan. He knew everything. He knew where everything was. He got up on stage and was performing, and he was telling everybody everything, where everything was at. I was like, yeah, this guy knows. He's from here.
He's one of us.
He's one of us. That's what exactly. So all of that and everything is just, it's wonderful that you guys you're doing this. And I want to talk about how we can get in touch with you, how and all that good stuff, and as well as some of your board members and everything. So we're glad that you're doing this for our community, or your community as well. We always, especially in a day and time when there's a lot of negative backlash going on, it's noon and strong is what Pete's saying from noon and with a lot of stuff that's going on, I'm glad that we're able to keep our town the way it is. And and I just want to put this together. We do mostly talk here at the station and a little bit of the classic rock, but Metallica years ago did a concert with an orchestra out of San Francisco. So it does mix together pretty well. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think so too. Absolutely.
But
I love that kind of thing.
it definitely is. Well, tell us how we can get involved, not just only with donations, we'll get into that too, but how, as a person here that was affected by that wants to be interviewed by that, or have a talent to be a part of this, tell me how I can get involved.
Absolutely. So if we make it through this week, guys, we do need to raise that money so that this project can survive. But if we're sitting here talking next week,
right?
We will have up on our link tree at first. We're building the website currently, but we'll have up on our link tree.
Okay.
A link to sign up to come tell your story. And we're opening a station at the Noonan History Center.
Okay.
And basically, we're inviting you to come. If you could come 2 by 2, we think that there's something really powerful about telling our stories in conversation. So if you want to bring your mom, your friend, your sister, your cousin, anyone that you either went through this with,
right,
or that you want to tell the story to who's a friend, and you bring them in, you both sit down, and in conversation, and you tell each other your story. We're going to have spots that are 30 minutes long. You can elect to sign up for 2 spots. I find in my interviewing style that we just need a little while to kind of get into it.
Right.
And then the story kind of starts flowing.
Right.
So if you come with someone else who has a story to tell, I would recommend each of you take 30 minutes. But it's up to you. If you only have 30 minutes for both of you, you make that decision. And you'll come in, you press record, and you start talking. We'll have a facilitator there, so someone who can just help make sure, we're making sure that, for the oral history, so that this is useful for people in the future.
Right.
Making sure that if you say somebody's name, that we know, that's Miss Smith, chemistry teacher.
Right. Oh,
those
yeah.
kinds of things. And also, if either one of you just feel a little stuck, the facilitator can use a few prompts to say, hey, what about this? We'll
right.
also have a list of questions to kind of get people flowing through each of the different phases of recovery. But basically, we know that you know your story. So we want you to just have the space to tell it.
Sounds good.
We've got an in-person place to go. In the spring, we're planning to go around to different churches around where the tornado hit.
Okay.
So that we want to kind of come to you. So have a Sunday afternoon, where you just need to stay after church and give your story. But starting mid-October, end of October, we're going to be at Noonan History Center, and we'll be there until April. So that's a place that you can always come on Saturdays to give your story from 10 to 2.
Sounds good.
We do need volunteers. So we are training facilitators. And so if you're interested in being the person who holds that space, we will
Right.
So come back and sign up for that. That would be amazing. And if you can't make it over to Newman, just getting out your phone, grabbing a friend, and pressing record on your voice notes app and starting to talk and tell your story. You can totally do that and then send the file through WeTransfer to info@seasonsofstrengthnewton.com. To keep up with us, you can go to Instagram at Seasons of Strength Newton. I always have to say at Seasons of Strength Newton because other people had already taken Seasons of Strength. So we're also on Facebook. We've got a Facebook page at Seasons of Strength Newton. Let me think what else. Oh, our Linktree. If you just go to Linktree and then put in the handle, it's Seasons of Strength Newton. We're basically that everywhere. And our Linktree has all of the information. It has that video. It has the information about how to donate. If you have a business, a local business that you would like to have support the project, we do have sponsorships available. And we've got information on that. And next week, if we survive this week, we will have those sign-ups for volunteering and for telling your story.
Sounds good. Well, tell them how they can help out. And then I want to talk about some of the committee members, because I'm looking down this list and a lot of these are friends of the radio station, I'm going to say.
Wonderful.
So,
Yeah, Elizabeth actually had me reach out. She said, you need to talk to him.
yes, we love Elizabeth over at the Newton Carnegie Library. And then, of course, our friends at Southern Art Dance. We love them as well. And Miss Phyllis. And so you got a lot of fantastic people. But, hey, tell us how we can donate and help out.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah, go to Linktree, Seasons of Strength Newton. So you know how to enter Linktree in your browser. It's linktr.ee/Seasons of Strength Newton. And right there at the top, the first link is donate. Click on that link.
All right.
Enter literally any amount will move us along.
Yes.
We're almost 2/3 of the way to our goal. Guys, I really believe that we can do this.
Mm-hmm.
We need people who believe in community, who believe in the power of storytelling, and who believe in art to lend us a hand to make this happen. And honestly, to make a statement that you want this in your community. Because even if you give $5, what you're telling any sponsor, any potential like large donor, you're telling them, hey, look, I can't give a lot right now, but I want this here.
Right.
I want to know that this is going to happen. And I'm going to give my $5 and say, look, I'm putting myself behind this. So if you can do that for us, it would mean the world. It would mean that we have the support of the community.
Definitely so, guys. Let's help out for sure. And I'm looking at this list, a great group of people. If you want to run down this group of people right quick that are part of your committee, go ahead.
Yeah, so you mentioned Will Slay and Paula Menzo.
Yes, love them.
Southern Art Dance. We're actually partnering with them as well. They're going to be, Paula's going to be choreographing parts of the performance.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Kathy Bazars, who has just been a mentor, friend, colleague since I was in high school.
Awesome.
And has been an amazing community advocate for this project. She was the Noonan High School chorus teacher for a long time when I was there.
Right.
And we've got Elizabeth Ruppel at Noonan Carnegie Library. Noonan Carnegie Library is talking with us about storing that oral history.
Yes.
We've got Taj Kendrick Stevens from the Noonan History Center.
Yep.
And as I've already mentioned, the Noonan History Center is providing our space to tell the stories. We've got Joe Arnatti,
Yep.
who is literally everywhere.
Yes. True.
He is he's really known as an incredible actor in the community, but he is also a leader in so many places, including the Noonan Cultural Arts Commission. We've got Phyllis Graham, who ran Let Them Eat Coffee for years and years.
Yep.
And is now just an incredible mover and shaker in the community.
Yes.
We've got Steve Quisenberry, who is known for his work in oral history, telling stories with Noonan. He's currently working on his second book. His first book was about the men who went to Vietnam from county to county, and now he's writing a book about the entire history of Noonan High School.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I can't wait to read that.
He's been an incredible guide in this. We have Pam Gable, who is just such a font of wisdom. She was a huge part of the recovery, especially the long-term recovery with the American Red Cross. And I hope I'm not missing anyone else. So absolutely terrible.
David.
If I'm missing anyone.
David.
I'm not actually. Oh, David Kenwright. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
David Kenwright is our conductor for the show. One thing that we've really tried to do is make sure that on the artist side, this is also a place to express what we've been through. And now David Kenwright has also been a mentor, colleague, and guide for umpteen years, basically since I moved to Noonan in 1995 when I was 10 years old. I went through his entire choir program at First United Methodist Church in Noonan.
Cool.
And his house was in the path of the tornado.
Oh, wow.
He was lucky that his house was spared, but there's almost that feeling of survivor guilt there that, I shouldn't speak for him, but his whole surrounding neighborhood was really, really hit hard. So I'm really honored that when I told him, he was one of the first people, Kathy and David were the first two people I told about this project. And I was so honored when he was like, yes, let's do this. Let's make this happen. And he'll be conducting the orchestra for the show.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There you go. That's a great group of people.
These people are amazing.
It is, and I love the coming together, and to me, you got some of the most influential and classy people in our community that's a part of this, and I really enjoy that you guys are doing this. Let's help her out and everything, guys. We're going to talk more with Gwendolyn in the future. Got other things to do. And one more question for you from the audience. They're just popping questions in on my YouTube page. The Patriot from Virginia. That's right, Virginia. I want to make sure. He said that he wants to know what your favorite opera is.
Oh, Lordy.
He's putting you on the spot.
He has put me on the spot. I really should have come prepared. I should have known someone would ask this.
You should have.
An obvious question. So, as far as operas I've performed in, I really love, it was so complicated to learn, but I really love Peter Grimes by Benjamin Britten. As far as operas I've seen recently, I'm going to go with a super new opera that was produced for Atlanta Opera's the 99-Hour Opera Project, which is totally cool. You should check
Yes.
Every summer they give a group of 10 composers like 3 days to produce an opera that they have written about something going on in the Atlanta area, about some Atlanta history.
Awesome.
And then they select a winner. And the next year, that winner's opera is produced in full. And I got to see the first winner's full project, and it was called Forsyth County is Flooding with the Joy of Lake Lanier.
Okay.
Y'all, it is
yes.
one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. If you get the chance to see it, I don't know when they're going to produce it again, but Forsyth County is Flooding with the Joy of Lake Lanier.
Love it.
A great opera. And not long at all.
Sounds good. Well, once again, give everybody how to follow you, how to help out, and all that good stuff.
The biggest thing you need to know is I think the easiest thing is go to Instagram at Seasons of Strength Noonan and go to the link there. That's our link tree. On our link tree is everything you need to know right now.
Sounds good.
That's our donate, that's our video, that's sponsorship information, and come back in a week if you can't donate right now, but I hope you can, and check out the links to be able to volunteer and tell your story.
Sounds good. All right, guys, stay tuned. We'll thank Gwendolyn for being with us this morning. Stay tuned. Horrifying History's Professor Brenda Ganske joins us in the next period. That's all coming up for you all this morning. So stay with us more and ways. The RyanORadio Penitentiary cruises on about 15 minutes away from the top of the hour. I tell you, thank you for being on, and anything we can do for you guys, let us know. We'd love to work with you. And if you guys need any kind of help in setting up anything to record or need a space to record in, let me know. We can set something up here at the station and all that good stuff.
Oh, amazing. That would be wonderful. Yeah, one thing we do need before this listening station, we're not on air, are we?
Nope.
Okay, just making sure. It's just, like problems for next week when we know there's a project.
Right.
Is we are looking for recording equipment that we can borrow for Saturdays. So I don't know if you have anything lying around or if you know anyone who has something lying around. Until we get more funding and can buy it for ourselves. And especially since this is a shorter project, we're just doing this until April. It would be nice if we could just borrow it the whole time. So we're just looking for folks who don't need recording equipment with 2 mics and a recording device on Saturday.
Well, I tell you, I'm sure we've got something. If it's not here at the studios with me, I'm sure we got something in our studios in Lynette, Alabama, where some of our other stations are. So I can look in for all that for you guys, no problem. And once you guys get that, I know that's in the future. Once you get all that recorded and stuff, we'll be happy to play some of this on the air for you. The audio portions and stuff like that on the radio here. Set aside a little time so that people can hear that in the community.
I love that. Yeah, let's definitely stay in touch about that because I think it will also kind of animate people to come and tell their story as well as they hear other people's stories. So I think that's a great idea. I'll be in touch about that.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate you this morning, and then anything else, just give me a call back or email back, and we'll just stay in touch because we want to definitely work with you guys and everything. Yeah. I've been looking for, to be honest with you, the station, we do a lot of short synopsis of this. We do a lot of local programming here, and like Will and all of them have came in on other shows they've come on my show. We've had all kind of different programs, from women-based programs to sports to therapists on Wednesday, just different things like that. We're looking to put some more culture programming here on the station as well. So,
Yeah, amazing.
yeah, I'd love to speak with you about that. I know you guys got a lot going on, but after the fact that some of this is going on, I'd like to sit down and talk with some of you guys about some of these ideas.
You're cutting it out. But
Hey, I know somebody's calling. Sorry.
maybe, what would you think about, like, just meeting in person and having lunch or something?
Yeah, we could.
Like next week or the next.
Yeah, we could definitely set something up for next week or something on downtown. Would be great, somewhere at Leaf and Bean or something like that.
Perfect. I feel like I hold court in Leaf and Bean. I'm keeping Leaf and Bean open.
I'm sure you are.
Everybody.
I'm sure you are. A lot of people are. I got their coffee right here this morning. I had to go get some before I got on the air. So.
Well, you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for this. I really, truly appreciate it.
Not a problem. Just get in touch with me. Let me know, and we'll set up a time.
All right. Oh, and is there somewhere that we can put the link for people again, just in case they're looking for it?
Yeah, I'll just share it all over the Facebook page and everything. I shared it this morning. I'll keep sharing everything all the way through the end of the weekend and stuff.
God bless you. Thank you so much.
No problem.
You have a wonderful day.
You do too. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, bye. All right. I had too much. Answer the phone. I don't want to answer the phone. That ain't even the girl that's supposed to be calling. That's not even Brenda calling. WQEE Radio. Yeah, hello.
Online yet?
Oh, I'm about to be back on the air.
Hopefully you are.
Yeah, I had an interview. How's it going, Martin?
Listening, and I was waiting for my chance to get online.
Well, I got another guest coming up, so hold on a second. I'll give you.
I'd be quick, but
Go ahead.
you got to be careful about this hurricane. It's coming right up your rear end.
Yes, I am. We got that coming in today.
It's going to be a massive one.
That is.
Talking at least a category 3 minimum. More like category 4. It's coming right up you. It's going to hit
I know.
the west side of Florida, and it's going to creep on up there all the way up to Mississippi.
Yep, that's what they said.
Yeah, I'm just trying to tell you, you better get ready.
I am ready, brother. I appreciate it. We
I'm trying to tell you, I'm not joking.
I know. We're prepared here. The local utility companies already sent out information and stuff. We're getting prepared for the next couple of days. Oh, he's gone. So there you go. All right, stay tuned. Thank you, Martin Deloach, brother from Texas, warning us. I appreciate that. We do have a big storm coming through here later this week. Beginning today, we got a lot of rain coming in. It's going to be Thursday going into Friday late. We're expecting off a tropical storm Helen is expected to hit us. So we're going to be on the lookout for that. Gwendolyn Kuhlmann, we thank her for being with us from Seasons of Strength. We'll talk with her in the future as well. We're going to be getting some things going on here too. And coming up, Horrifying History with Brenda Ganske. I like to call her the professor. She's going to dive deeper into the CIA and other stuff. You guys are going to really love what's going on this morning with her. So stay tuned with that. This has been a great interview. Great day. We're going to take a break, close this out, and get ready for Brenda Ganske coming up next. Love that Helen name. You love that Helen name. I don't really care for it. I'm not really into that Helen name. The National Weather Service has issued an alert regarding Tropical Storm Helen with an E, which is forecast to intensify as quickly as it moves into the eastern Gulf of Mexico over the next 24 to 48 hours, ladies and gentlemen. ABC, Ryan, you were talking about you joined the YouTube partnership program. Be careful, YouTube takes a cut of the money that the partnership money may be money. Be careful, man. I appreciate that, brother. I do know that Daniel put some money in there this morning. He sent me about $3. So I guess it was on where you could do the little pictures and stuff on here. You can put your name up there. Yeah, there you go. My mom's name is Helen, and she is definitely a hurricane. I know. We're not talking about you, Miss Helen. No, she's listening because Brenda's about to come on. We're not talking about you, Miss Helen. I don't think you're a hurricane. Brenda said that. I don't. You call and get on to her today. We know she's listening, Brenda. Yeah, you got to board up those windows. They're doing that now in Florida, and Governor Ron DeSantis has, of course, made sure he's called for a declaration, and so is Governor Brian Kemp in Georgia this morning as well. So we'll keep you abreast throughout the morning and tomorrow morning as it comes in. We're going to take another short break. Back in a moment. Oh, she's going to call you for sure. What's up? What's up, brother? Barty. What's up? How you doing? I want to thank Daniel for that. I guess now, guys, I can open up where you can put cartoon memes. You pay for something. I don't know what it's called. ABC probably does because he's young. He'll be able to, yeah, Ryan, it's this, brother. Thank you. Be safe, everyone, the hurricane. Yeah, we're going to be getting that too. Nicholas, well, all right. There you go, Nicholas. No, you're Nicholas Jackson. No, don't tell me you're one of the Jackson boys, the wrestlers, are you? Thank you for watching. Either way, whichever Nicholas you are. If you are, then you're going to have to become my favorite tag team. Don't care what Jim Cornette says. Going to take off Friday. You're going to take off Friday. Don't take off. What are you going to do? You're going to flap your arms and take off, Pete? I'm picking.
The best way to beat the heat is to stay hydrated. And Water Treat in Newton has got you covered with their amazing antioxidant alkaline water. Swing by for quick and easy drive-through pickup. And
Captain Hot Buns. Good morning to you.
Stay cool,
Be safe, everyone, says Terry. Thank you, Terry.
Show in which we talk about things that can help you improve your life, improve your mental health, and help you to get your life back in balance. Our goal here is to provide information that's
Andrew Polanis, did you know that girl's husband's last name is like Catherine Kuhlmann? Her last name, her name is Kuhlmann. That her husband's name was Kuhlmann. Andrew Polanis showing love. Yeah, there's a way you can get in here, guys, and now it sends money to me. I'm in the partnership program now. So hopefully they'll get some good accounts. No Jessica on Hump Day. I knew you'd like that last name, Andrew.
Championship since 2011. It was their 12th division crown since division play began back in 1969.
We should be hearing from our friend. Oh, let me go ahead and get hers up too. There we go. Good morning.
Yeah.
Yes, hello.
One last thing I want to say.
Yes, sir.
I sure as hell do not want to be in Georgia right now. Nor Florida, nor Alabama. Hell no.
I hear you. Well, shit, my guest is calling in, brother. I appreciate you.
Sorry, man, but thanks.
No problem. We appreciate you, brother. WQEE, hello? Hello? Okay. Call again, Brenda. Love opera. I know you do, Andrew. I know you do. I'm sure the reason they split the money is if they go get like an account, ABC, and it's like good WQEE.
Good morning, Ryan.
Hey, I'm good. How about you? Just busy this morning as always.
Oh, well, that's always good.
Definitely so. I will definitely check it out, ABC. Thank you. Go ahead.
So how is the weather out there?
Oh, right now it's calm before the storm, so it's gonna be flooding and stuff. But I think my portion will probably be all right. We're just probably gonna get a lot of rain and wind, but our utility company is getting everybody ready for it because they just are. But there'll probably be a lot of utilities outages.
So I have a weird question for you.
Uh-huh.
Are your guys' power lines and like phone lines and such underground, or are they above ground?
Above ground.
I see. We have ours here underground.
Yes. Big
That way
difference.
you don't get affected with as much storm, right?
Right. Smart. But Canada's ahead anyway. You guys are already in 2024. We're still stuck in 1985 here. So
We do have some that's above ground and they're more in the rural areas, but when they get replacements, they usually go underground.
yep. That's it, ABC. This is split. They'll sell the advertising for us and stuff too. So that's how I usually do with some advertisers, ABC here. If they'll buy this and, there you go. So that's what it is. All underground is the best. That's how Germany is, says Pepper. Good. Sorry, just responding to all the wonderful people on YouTube, Brenda.
Yeah, they're talking a lot today. They're busy.
They are. They stay busy like that. And now I'm part of the YouTube partner program. So the station should be getting benefit in that. And yeah, now you can get on here and I don't know, the different little memes and different little things. People can put stars on here and give money. I have one of my listeners already give money this morning. So they know I just need that money for a pizza. Or another cup of coffee, exactly.
Yeah, it's raining here because believe it or not, even though those tropical storms are hitting you guys, because of the weather stream, we get hit too, but not in the same way. And we're getting a lot of rain today. So that's why I thought you guys must be getting it worse.
Well, it's supposed to start today, but the funny thing about it is a lot of times we look like we're going to be getting hit hard, and then we get a little rain at different times. And right now, it's clear out there. The sun is peeking out. So as they would say in the South, the sun is peeking out behind the clouds. So
yeah, definitely not the same here.
there you go. There you go. You guys are getting it. But yes, we'll probably get it next couple of days. People around here want it to rain today and tomorrow and be finished by Friday afternoon because high school football is king in the South. So,
Well, it's the weekend. You can't have weekend rain.
No, they don't care about weekend rain as long as it don't mess up the football game on Friday night. Everything else, whatever,
Well, I just did the math because, again, we're metric system here.
So today we're going to be getting about 1.5 inches of rain.
Wow.
It's really common here, storms like that. That was our entire August, which is really funny because our leaves started to change color early this year. And I'm like, that's weird because normally it happens in drought.
Right.
So I did a quick Google. Apparently, trees are so picky that if it's too dry, they'll shed their leaves early. If it's too wet, they'll shed their leaves early. And we had so much rain in August, and it was unreal.
Wow. $500 a month. Wow. Woo. Oh, power. You're talking about utility bills there. Chaos, BC. Wow. Yeah, ours went up a little bit here too. So I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't use that much utilities. Not even there half the time. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Here we go. This and this. And we'll go on here in a minute. We got a couple of spots and we'll get ready to go on.
Cool. So have you heard of Polybius before, Ryan?
Haven't heard of what?
Polybius. Perfect.
All right. Well,
That's the video game we're talking about.
oh, okay.
The ironic thing is, in one of the Simpsons TV episodes, they actually put this video game in it, right beside Bart, who went to the arcade. And on the bottom of it, it says the name, and it says
I lived in Vegas, Terry.
property of the U.S. government, which is pretty funny.
Right.
And in Loki season 1, there's a scene where all the Lokis are kind of kept located at, and in there's things from history that they took, and one of them is the game of Polybius.
Well, my video game people are going to enjoy this one.
Well, the funny thing is, people are using it, and it's hidden as Easter eggs, but people don't know.
I didn't gamble. Oh, really? Well, my listeners are they're going to be excited. When I read this one this morning, I was like, the video game people are going to be excited. And then my people who like conspiracies are going to be excited.
Well, there's a lot behind this one, so it's going to be interesting. But I already have next month planned.
Oh, I know that. It's October. Come on.
And I think next month what I'm going to do is the history behind, how parents say don't talk to strangers or don't take candy from strangers.
Right.
Well, I'm going to explain that one, but also going to explain where the legend came up that you got to check your kids' candy because it could be spiked.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought that would be really good to talk about for Halloween.
Yes, there you go. There you go. I like that one. Plus, you got to get ready for Thanksgiving up there.
Oh, yeah. It's like, well, what our big plan is going with friends, and we're doing tours of wineries. They do about 2 wineries. And we did this last year, but this time we're smart. We're doing 2 versus 3, and we're putting a meal in between.
There you go. There you go. That was the husband's idea, wasn't it?
Well, I was the only one that actually was able to walk out of the vehicle to go into the house when I was done.
So the husband's like, hey, we got to eat in between.
And one of my friends literally opened the door and fell out. And then my other friend fell out beside her.
Fun. All right, we're getting ready to go on.
Okay.
Here we go, guys. You lived in Vegas, Anna Marie. There you go, in the early 80s. Come on, guys. Wake up. It's the final period of play on this weird Wednesday. We're in the final period of play, and we're going to get weird with you, and we're going to play games. Woo. Stay tuned. Coming up, it is 78,000 plus of you worldwide on the Shoutcast Shout It Out Loud. We're across the RyanORadio media page, which is on iHeartRadio as well as Amazon Prime and 22 other streaming platforms. We're across the British Columbia Isles of Canada, also 25 different radio affiliates on the Navajo Nation, including in New Mexico and Arizona, part of Earth Rock Radio, and we're a part of 99.1 FM WQEE The Key here in the Metro Atlanta and Atlanta market, home of inspirational talk, Southern sports, and real news. We're also, of course, across our platforms on the YouTube. Like, subscribe, and share there. And you could, donate a little money there to the show as well. And we're on the Facebook and everywhere you need to be. Welcome you guys in. It is about 10 minutes past the hour, still at 74 degrees. The sun, as they would say, is out speaking out behind the clouds. Our guest this hour is always our guest at the end of the month, and she is the host of Horrifying History. She brings to life history with mixing in the unknown, the paranormal, and much more as that stains the blood. The blood stains the history books. That's right. And please welcome the one, the only, I like to call her the professor, and it's the one, the only Brenda Ganske from Horrifying History. Good morning, Professor.
Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing good on this weird Wednesday. It's been a full morning, and glad to have you here with us. And I know that I've got two portions of my audience that are about to enjoy what we're about to dive into. Before we get into that, I know you said it's raining. Tropical storm Helen is she just partying in the Caribbeans, and she wants to go into Florida, come to Georgia, and she may even want to head up to Canada where you're at. So I mean, she's taking her time to have a good time, right?
Oh, I think so, and I think she's maybe PMSing a bit.
Yeah.
Maybe if you guys can throw some Midol up in the sky, maybe
Let's do it.
Help.
That might do it. She may be doing that. She may be a little, yeah, yep. Well, John went first. So Tropical Storm John went first, and he didn't really make much of an impact. So his wife, Helen, followed him. So,
Well, we're going to get about 1.5 inches of rain today. So thanks, Helen.
That's right. Thank you, Helen. And no, we're not talking about Brenda's mom. She might be, but I'm not, Miss Helen.
Well, my mom's Helen name ends with an E because it's French.
So is this one.
Name her? Oh, damn.
Yes. Yeah. The tropical storm Tropical Storm Helen ends with an E.
My mom could get that too. So I guess she's a hurricane.
Oh, Miss Helen, I didn't say that. She did. You call her today. You got her number.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to hear about it.
Oh, man. Well, let's get into it this morning. We're going to be talking about video games and mind control and CIA. And, so my people who love video games are going to be excited about this. My people who are into the conspiracy theorists and conspiracy theories and stuff like that are going to enjoy this. So let's go ahead and dive into our topic today. Guys, pens and papers ready.
Well, honestly, Ryan, I think today's tale has a little bit of everything.
Yes.
Mind control, video games. It seems a little bit weird, doesn't it?
I would think it's a little weird, but most of my audience is probably going to say, no, it's true.
Well, I'm going to start today asking you a question, Ryan. Do
Okay.
you play video games?
I used to play Super Mario Brothers back in the day. That was the last time I did, when he became the flying raccoon.
I'll be honest, I've actually never have been into playing video games. I played them here and there.
Right.
For millions of people around the world, they love to do this.
Oh, yeah. And they're professionals.
It's the actual study, so it's very interesting. It's a way that individuals escape their regular lives, and it allows for a diversity of choice that the real world can't provide, right?
Right. And they make money, too.
Oh, yeah, of course, the money, got to pocket that money.
They make money.
Gaming can also boost a person's mood and help relieve stress. Now, personally, when I played, it made my stress worse.
Yeah, me too. I keep falling.
They're also used as learning tools, and this is why video games have actually been used in therapy for at least the last decade, which is quite interesting if you think about it. But just imagine for a moment. Imagine there is a game that was created for a completely different purpose. What if there was a game that was created as part of a psychology experiment to produce psychoactive effects and eventually result in controlling the mind of the person who's playing it? So do you think this is possible, Ryan?
I believe it could be possible, yes.
And maybe it is. But the idea of mind control isn't a new one. Now, in the early years of the Cold War, the CIA became obsessed with the idea that communists have discovered a drug or a technique that will allow them to control another person's mind. So in response to this, the CIA developed a secret program that they called MK Ultra. Have you heard of MK Ultra before, Ryan?
I have heard of MK Ultra, yes.
Well, for your listeners who may not have, the goal of this program was to discover or create a mind control drug or technique that the CIA could use against their enemies.
Mm-hmm.
So MK Ultra actually started to operate in the 1950s, and it was run by a chemist who's named Sidney Gottlieb.
Yep.
Now, the experiments that were done in this program was secretly funded at universities and research centers. Now, these experiments were conducted in American prisons or in hospital detention centers in other countries. The unknowing victims endured psychological torture that ranged from electroshock, physical abuse, and being diagnosed with high levels of LSD. So early in this program, Sidney believed that if you want to gain control of a person's mind, it had to happen in two steps. Now, first, one had to destroy a person's existing thought process, and secondly, you had to create a new thought process and personality in that void. Now, he admittedly had success with the first part, but had some big challenges with the second. Now, believe it or not, it's this work that laid the groundwork for modern-day torture techniques, but it also destroyed many people's lives. Have you heard about some people who went through this program?
I have heard about it. Yes, I actually have. Did a study on it.
Well, I'm going to give you an example. Now, this is what happened to a woman named Esther Schreier.
Right.
Now, Esther lived in Montreal here in Canada, and she was a patient at the Allen Memorial Institute during the 1960s, and she went there to seek help for postpartum depression and anxiety. But what she didn't know was as soon as she walked through the facility's doors, she walked into the clutches of MK Ultra. Now, what is even more egregious was the fact that when Esther went to this facility for treatment, she was pregnant, Ryan.
Ooh.
What her and her fellow patients at the Allen Memorial Institute endured laid the groundwork for torture for many decades to go afterwards. So I'll give you a little bit of history of how Esther ended up in the hands of MK Ultra.
Okay.
So Esther's childhood was not easy. When she was 4 years old, her father passed away, and a year later, her mother was diagnosed with a brain tumor. The treatment at this time for a brain tumor was a lobotomy.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think happened?
Maybe a lobotomy.
Well, this alleged surgery caused so much damage in most people that they had to go and spend the rest of their lives in a psychiatric institution.
Yes.
And that's what happened to Esther's mother. So now Esther and her brother were shuffled between relatives until they were placed in a foster home. They were also regularly moved from foster home to foster home until Esther started to train to become a nurse. So after she got her first nursing position, Esther met her future husband, Haskell Schreier, on a blind date. The two got married in 1955, and 3 years later, they had their first child together, a daughter named Lynn. But only at 3 weeks old, the baby developed a staph infection and passed away. So Esther, she was crushed, and she felt that she was responsible for her child's death. The pain didn't lessen at all when Esther became pregnant with her second child 2 years later. So as you can imagine, having that second pregnancy, it really affected her. And as that pregnancy moved forward, Esther suffered from such severe anxiety because she kept on worrying about her unborn child may die. So that's when her husband Haskell read an article about the Allen Memorial Institute and its cutting-edge psychiatric care.
Right.
But what this article didn't say was how the director of this organization caught the eye of the CIA. They gave him funding through a front organization to have him test subjects with extreme sensory deprivation drugs and repetition of recorded messages. So according to Esther's medical chart, she was admitted in February of 1960 to get what was thought to be the most cutting-edge mental health treatment around. But as you can imagine, that's not what happened. In her chart, it was very clear that the facility had no her well-being or that of her unborn child. She was initially put into what was called a sleep room. So in this place, patients were put in drug-induced comas and were only revived for 3 meals and 3 bathroom breaks a day. By the end of the first month, this pregnant woman, Ryan, lost 13 pounds and was so weak she couldn't even stand.
Wow.
So then came step 2, and it was a treatment called depowdering. Now, the goal of this was to break her mind down to a childlike state using drugs and electroshock therapy. So as part of this, Esther endured what the hospital called psychic driving, which was a way that patients would have to listen to recorded messages for up to 20 hours a day, whether they were awake or not. So these messages would be played via headphones, speakers, or speakers and helmets. So according to former patient charts, they would hear these messages up to 500,000 times. So in theory, Sydney thought that this would allow them to break a person's mind and then they would become a clean slate. And this would allow the staff to reprogram Esther however they wanted. So by March 12, 1960, Esther's chart said that the doctors now considered her to be completely depowdered. So what that actually meant was she was now incontinent, mute, and she had challenges even swallowing. She didn't recognize her own husband and literally had to relearn everything in her life, which included simple things like how to boil water.
Oh.
Through the Institute, Esther went through 29 electroshock treatments. The only reason they stopped this because at this point she was in her 8th month of pregnancy.
Oh.
What do you think of that?
I don't know. I personally think that was uncalled for, but back in that day, they did, women speaks out, has an intelligent something to say. We got to give her some shock therapy.
But you're not wrong.
I know.
So by the time Esther gave birth to her son on September 27th, 1960, she couldn't even remember basic life functions. So according to an interview that happened in 2004 by BBC Scotland,
Right.
Esther said about this time, and I quote, "I had a new baby, but I didn't know what to do with the baby. I had help, a baby nurse, but she had to take a day off, and she left me with a book. And I'll just give you a little example of the book. When you hear the baby cry, go to the room, pick up baby, and then step by step of how to feed the baby."
Wow.
That blows my mind.
Me too.
But remember, she was a nurse.
Yes. Wow.
As you can imagine, Esther lived the rest of her life worried about what she went through, how that would affect her son. Now, thankfully, he appeared to be fine, but ultimately, nobody knows how this can help or affect his health now or in the future. Believe it or not, Esther is considered to be one of the lucky ones. Now, many of the patients who left the Allen Memorial Institute were completely broken, and these poor souls couldn't find their way back to the life they lived before. To this day, survivors and their families are suffering from ongoing trauma, and right now, Ryan, there are several class action suits, and it came up in the news this week here in Canada, that are against the Canadian government and several Canadian hospitals about this.
Wow.
So the plaintiffs allege that the unknowing subject endured psychological torture, and this resulted in them being reduced to a childlike state. So as you can expect, the Canadian Department of Justice is trying to claim that the Canadian government, they're not liable. They don't have any moral responsibility concerning this.
Nah.
So what are your thoughts?
They actually are liable on it. Even if they say they had nothing to do with it, they still are liable for what happened to this woman or anybody in this situation. So, yeah, wow, this is a sad situation.
Well, we're going to have to see what the courts have to say about it.
I'm sure that they got.
I got a question for you, though.
Yes, go ahead.
Are you thinking to yourself, what does this have to do with MK Ultra? And what does MK Ultra have to do with a video game?
Well, I can see the connection of MK Ultra to mind control because here they were doing it to supposedly patients similar in asylums. But what does it have to do with video games is the one the connection there.
Well, according to the urban legend, Polybius was an arcade game that was published by Atari in 1981 at the request of the CIA. Their goal was to use this game to induce various negative psychological effects on those who played it. Now, the plan was to use this game to brainwash the player and gain control of their minds. But this is just one of the stories of who could have been behind this plan. So the story of Polybius itself, it actually starts in 1981 in Portland, Oregon. So, according to this legend, In arcades, a mysterious black arcade game showed up only in Portland and a few nearby suburbs. The game was named Polybius arcade game. It quickly became very, very popular, and those who played it, well, for the lack of better terms, they became addicted to it. Lineups began to develop around these machines for people desperate to play, and often fights would happen with people who wanted to play it next, and they would fight each other to play it next. So then the players allegedly started to suffer from strange side effects of their new addiction. It is said that they suffered from things like amnesia, insomnia, night terrors, and hallucinations. Now, according to this, some even had brain aneurysms and became suicidal. Others ultimately died. So meanwhile, while all this is supposedly happening, those in arcades with the game noticed that men in black suits started downloading data from the arcade cabinet on a regular basis. Now, many people believe that this data gave specific insights into the person who played the game. Then suddenly, about a month after the game was released in Portland, they were gone with no explanation. So who was behind the game? What's its real purpose? This is where the story diverges, and there's multiple theories on who could have been behind Polybius. So I'm going to tell you just a couple of the most popular ones, because there's a lot behind this.
Okay.
So the first theory is that this game was a tool created by the United States government to test a person's mental and physical abilities as a way to recruit soldiers. So this theory actually follows the plotline of the 1984 sci-fi movie called The Last Starfighter. Have you ever watched that movie, Ryan?
I don't think I ever have. No.
Well, for you and those who haven't seen it, a teenager is living in a trailer park with his mom and brother,
Right.
and he starts playing an arcade game called Starfighter.
Okay.
After he receives the status of the game's highest scoring player, the teenager is approached by the game's inventor. Now, the inventor is actually an alien that's been living on Earth, and he abducts the team.
Okay.
So the hero of the story is then told that that arcade game represented a real intergalactic war, and its purpose was to find those who had the gift to become a gunner for the Starfighter spacecraft.
Wow.
So is it possible the movie contributed to the lore surrounding Polybius?
Yes.
Or could it be that the government took this movie as a playbook for their own recruitment needs?
A little bit of both.
I have a question for you, Ryan, at this point.
Yes.
If this is possible.
Okay.
And do you think the government would choose, why would they choose Portland to test a video game?
It's out in the middle of nowhere.
That makes sense?
Yes, that's yeah. And if they came to the South, we would tell them. That's just the way it is.
So let's dive really quickly into the second theory.
All right.
So remember I was talking about those men in black suits downloading data from arcade boxes?
Right.
So in the world of UFO conspiracy theories, the men in black are individuals who allegedly work for the government. They supposedly harass, threaten, or even kill people who had experiences concerning aliens and UFOs with the goal to keep them quiet. Their purpose is to squash any hint of possible proof that alien life exists, and they're said to appear in different times of history. So concerning Polybius, many people believe that the men downloading the data from these machines were part of the men in black. But if that is true, why would these men, whose goal is to hide the existence of alien activity, want to collect data from our arcade game? Or could this be just tagged to the plot of The Last Starfighter? Maybe, could it be that The Last Starfighter came from real events? So what do you think, Ryan?
I think it could come from real events. I think it could have came from real events. I mean, they always try to put things. Yeah, they always kind of put something out there to kind of say, all right, this is false. So let's put it out in public. So yeah, I always believe they share things in public with us.
Well, now we're going to go to the most popular theory, and this
All right.
is the one that I lean towards myself.
Okay.
MK Ultra.
Oh, that's what a lot of people do.
Right. So according to this theory, MK Ultra was actually part of something really big. Now, according to the urban legend, Polybius was created and published by a company that was called Sinislavkin. Now, in many different versions of this tale, Sinislavkin is said to mean different things. In some stories, it's sensory deprivation. In others, it means senseless. And in even more stories, it means to extinguish or delete. So according to this theory, the company it was a part of CIA and MK Ultra, and their goal was to learn how to control a person's mind by using various items like drugs, torture, and in this case, a video game. This game allegedly was part of a CIA experiment with mind control and mental torture on innocent victims without their knowledge. Now, as we already know, this is something that definitely the CIA was doing during this time. But
Okay.
do you think the CIA actually tried to use an arcade game as a tool to control and torture? So what do you think? Do you think they could have had to do with this?
Well, video games came from somewhere, so the government's always been 10 or 20 years ahead of us, so I can believe yes.
So let's dive into this theory a bit more here.
Right.
It is said that these alleged experiments that the CIA was doing with this machine and the data they were collecting by the arcade game, and this was all part of this experiment. So the guys in the black suits were actually CIA operatives, and they were taking data to analyze. Now, allegedly, the game had certain blinking light patterns that was combined with sounds that would trigger specific points of a person's brain. This would cause the addictive aspect and resulted in some of the negative effects like night terrors and suicidal tendencies. Now, in this urban legend, this combination resulted in even further experiments that were said to occur in more current times. Now, these are going to be a little crazy. So, in one of these, an alleged 2-minute video was circulated on the internet in 2008. This one had a light and audio combination that caused the watcher to allegedly gouge out their own eyes and send them to Google. And if not, they would become extremely mentally unstable. So in another alleged experiment attached to this theory, the music and lyrics to the song Let It Go from the Disney movie Frozen was actually written by the CIA. So the CIA made a deal with Disney to insert this song into the movie, so the CIA could deliver subliminal messages to those watching said movies. But if this part of the theory is true, why hasn't the public heard reports concerning Google getting a whole bunch of human eyes in the mail? And if there's subliminal messages in the movie Frozen, what is the message and what purpose could it be? Now, personally, Ryan, I think that if there is a message, Disney did it themselves, and they put a message in like, watch our movie, buy Frozen merchandise. So what's your thoughts on this theory? Could it be possible?
Hey, there's a lot of things that are possible. And I can use the example of what they used to say about heavy metal music. You play it backwards, there were supposed to be messages in it. So, hey, look, I always believe that there could be messages, in your face. So, yes.
So,
thank you, Troy.
I told you the theories behind these possible legends.
Yes, Troy, go over
Let's look at some of the facts according to Polybius. So the name of Polybius itself comes from a Greek philosopher who was born in about 208 BCE. He was known for his affinity for puzzles and cryptography, and he created what was called the Polybius square. So the Polybius square is a device used for fractioning characters so they could be represented by a set of symbols that was used for things like creating coded messages. So the legend of this game, our game, started to gain popularity on February 6, 2000, when a listing for this game appeared on the website called coinoffstart.org. Now, for those of you who are really into gaming, this is a digital database for gaming. So and I looked it up myself, there is a page for Polybius, and it lists that this game was copyrighted in 1981, and it mentions the history of it is pretty cloudy. So I'm going to tell you the posting in part. Okay. The bizarre rumors about this game are that it's supposedly developed by some kind of weird military tech offshoot group, used some kind of proprietary behavior modification algorithm developed for the CIA or something. Kids who played it woke up at the night screaming, having horrible nightmares. According to an operator who ran an arcade with just one of these games, guys in black coats would come and collect records from the machine. They're not interested in quarters or anything. They just collected information about how the game was played. The game was weird looking, kind of abstract, fast action with some puzzle elements. The kids who played it stopped playing games entirely. One of them became a big anti-video game crusader or something. We contacted the person who met him, and he claims the machines disappeared after a month or so. No one ever heard about them again. Quick update. We wanted to go on record here that Stephen Roach is full of himself and knows nothing about this game. We have it on good authority. So right now you're probably asking, who is Stephen Roach?
Yeah, really. Who is he?
What right? Why did you drop his name in there?
I know.
Stephen Roach was an individual who posted a message on coinoff.org. In his post, he claimed that he was the man behind creating Polybius. So he alleged that he and his partners were commissioned to build this game by a company who specifically wanted the game to be addicted. He then said that when one child allegedly suffered an epileptic seizure after playing this game, the game was pulled from the market. So this post brought up a whole lot more questions than answers. Who actually was Stephen Roach? Did he actually exist? What company would want to build a game like this and for what purpose? Was Stephen unknowingly working for one of the groups that were a person who just attempted to put himself in the middle of an urban myth? So at this point of time, it is literally impossible to prove if this confession was real or if it was a hoax. But in a documentary called Polybius, the video game that doesn't exist, Stuart Brown claimed that he tracked down the user behind this post. This person stated that what they said in the post was a complete lie. Yes, as urban legends go, this lore is now deeply embedded into pop culture. But is any of this true? Ryan, the scary thing is, some of it is.
Yes, indeed.
So let's start with the machine itself.
That's who it is,
There
creepy.
is online postings about Polybius, and it's of the arcade box itself, and it shows a kind of fuzzy photo of the game. There is no way to tell from this photo if it's real or if it's a very early Photoshop picture due to it's a very bad photo quality. But the pictures of the title screen of the game are said to be a screenshot. So it shows just the name and the copyright date along with the company's name. There is no evidence at all that this company existed. Now, so there's no proof that a copyright was held by them in the time frame of Polybius. The next thing is the font used for these screens by many is going to be very, very odd for the time. It was large and colorful during a time that the memory required for these effects was not necessarily available. Only massive gaming companies of the time, like Nintendo, were known to have resources to spend on graphics like that on a title screen. Now, the lettering itself is not a match for the font that gaming companies were using at this time. So let's talk about people getting sick or having psychological effects with the game. There actually is some truth behind this urban legend, Ryan. Now, have you heard of the arcade game called Tempest?
Yeah, I have. I actually have, yes.
Well, for those who haven't, Tempest was created by Atari in 1981. It took place on a three-dimensional surface that was divided into lanes, and the player controls a kind of claw-like blaster that sits on the edge of the surface. So as the rotary knob was turned, the player moves from segment to segment. Now, the thing that was special about this game is it was one of the very first to use Atari's color quadrascan vector display technology, and this technology did make some people sick. In one case, a man named Michael Lopez, when he was a kid, he was playing the game with some of his friends, and he started to be feeling sick. Now, according to Michael, he started getting a very strange sensation in the back of his head, and then his vision started to blur. He started to feel very nauseous, and then he started vomiting in the parking lot of the arcade where him and his friends were in. So his friends tried to walk him home, but he couldn't make it. He collapsed on a person's lawn, and he could no longer speak due to the pain that was now in his head. He started to scream in pain as he experienced his very first migraine. Now, he said that he continues to suffer from migraines, and that it is actually believed that the game's visual effects and flashing lights triggered his events. So in another incident, a gamer named Jeff Daly died from a heart attack, and he passed away after he got on the high score list of the arcade game Berserk. Have you heard of that one?
I have not heard of that one.
Well, this one is a multi-directional shooter-based game that was released in 1980 by the company Stern Electronics. Now, this also happened to an 18-year-old, and his name was Peter Barisky. Now, according to this case, the country coroner ruled that the stress caused by the game triggered a heart attack in the 18-year-old. See, at the time, Peter was unknowingly suffering from myocardial inflammation, which he had before his death. He had no history of heart trouble, but the coroner said that Peter could have passed if he had any sort of exertion at that time. It's due to cases like this that when video games started to be more prominent, people started to worry about possible long-term effects due to video games, and this also could have contributed to this urban legend. Now, Ryan, as you know, back then the world of gaming is not what it is today.
No.
In those days, gaming was attention grabbing and immersive in hopes that their players would become addicted so they can make more money. Now, also in these days, there were many suspicious big corporations whose motives were not clearly transparent. Now, what didn't help this was the fact that the FBI actively conducted top secret operations out of American arcades. Did you know that?
Now that's a surprise. I mean, that's something I didn't know, but I'm not surprised by it.
And that's something I didn't know, but I wasn't surprised by either. Have you ever gone to an arcade when you were a kid?
I did. So yeah, I mean, they were. I used to wonder what those. I thought they were just perverts, and now I know it's government.
Well, according to the FBI records, this agency was actively monitoring and raiding arcades in the Portland area when the news started being reporting on gamers collapsing in arcades. So these were new types of gaming establishments, according to the FBI, and they were viewed as dark places that were hotbeds for gambling, drugs, and overall criminal activity. It was thought that criminals would go into arcades to prey on teenagers. Is it true? Well, actually, it is in part. This was a time before cell phones was readily available, and arcades were the place where teens hung out. There were pickpockets who regularly preyed on the gamers that were in these facilities. Drug dealers did go to the arcades to sell their products, and in some locations, gaming cabinets were being repurposed for gambling purposes. So in one operation, the FBI rigged games with cameras and microphones in hopes that they could catch criminals in the act. The ones that were specifically chosen were due to these cabinets had glass faces on them, which made it really easy to install video and audio devices inside them. With FBI agents coming into arcades to remove these bug machines, this also put it added to the lore behind Polybius. But then, there is the fact that the CIA program, MKUltra, it was very real. They performed experiments on innocent subjects without permission.
Right.
Now, this was illegal human experimentation, and it destroyed many people's lives through different types of torture. Now, Ryan, if you put all of that together, a mind-controlling video game, it doesn't really seem far-fetched, does it?
Not at all.
So, in some ways, the legend of Polybius is true. Some people were getting sick. Some people did die while playing video games that were programmed in a way to make a player become addicted. Men dressed in black were using arcade games in their covert operations. The government was actively trying to develop new torture techniques and mind control. Now, even though there's plenty of proof that Polybius didn't exist, there is a lot of truth behind the story of this video game. So, Ryan, I want to know what you think. Do you believe Polybius was created by the CIA in their efforts to control human minds, or is this all a coincidence? Or maybe is the answer somewhere in between?
I think it could be somewhere in between. I wouldn't put it past government officials to use something like that. Maybe not to control you and me since we're not a threat, but maybe there may be somebody out there they feel like is a threat, or they want to control them, or they might find somebody that could, work for their agency down the road. So I think it's kind of in between.
I'm leaning towards that too, because there's just too many things that align up, and especially with the whole MKUltra thing, because MKUltra was very real.
Yes, it was.
Try other ways to control a brain, right? So it is possible, and there was people in arcades. So my personal belief is I don't know if there was a Polybius, but I do believe there actually were people of agencies in arcades trying to collect data for something, or perhaps putting the cameras, like we said, to catch people in the act. So I guess that the answer is somewhere in between.
Yeah, I would think so too. A lot of people have, a lot of our elder statesmen, the boomer generations, have felt this way, and that's why I feel like they didn't like our generation playing video games because they,
Well, also you got to remember that parents at this time, this is something they never seen before.
Yeah.
And because of that, and these kids, well, I went to an arcade when I was a kid, but they're going to arcades, and there was some bad behavior in those arcades. Of course, I can understand how parents would become suspicious.
Yes, exactly.
Stories of people getting sick or dying, I can understand why they would try to prevent video games from kind of taking over.
Exactly. Wow. Well, another fantastic story and information that's right there with us that we definitely needed, and very enjoyable by our audience this morning. They really got into this, the gamer side and the conspiracy theory side is really good. All right, before we let you get ready to go, tell us what's coming up at Horrifying History, where, and all that good stuff.
Horrifying History, you can find us on any podcast provider, and we release our episodes each Wednesday. Now today, Ryan, we're telling a story, and it's crazy. It's about two extremely wealthy mean girls who took their fighting to a whole new level. Now, can you imagine if two girls were being mean girls or frenemies with each other and they have billions of dollars in the bank?
Yeah, it's called Real Housewives of.
Well, you can see how they can take their fighting to a whole new level. For more spooky stuff, check out our social media. We're on Facebook at Horrifying History, on Instagram at Threads at Horrifying_History, and on X at Horrifying HIST1.
All right, sounds good. We're going to let Brenda out on good behavior and she's going to be back with us next month. And also, Brenda, if I don't tell you, see or hear from you before then, you have a happy Thanksgiving.
Well, thank you.
Because their Thanksgiving's coming up in October, guys. Yeah. She gets to have
2 weeks from now?
Yep. So you know what that means? You get to have two Thanksgivings. You get to have one in October and in November.
I know. But what we celebrate for your Thanksgiving weekend is actually Black Friday. So that's part turkey, and it affects my credit card.
There you go. Well, your poor husband. We're going to be back in a moment, guys, and close out this show right after this. Stay with us. More RyanORadio Penitentiary on the way. Awesome as always.
Well, it is kind of weird. I thought I had to talk last time, so.
There you go.
Well, have a good day, Ryan.
You have a good day, too. We'll talk to you again next month if we don't talk to you before then.
Okay, hopefully you guys stay safe.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll talk soon.
Later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
That's right. We got. See, where was King at this morning when he was wanting some of this information? Told you I had it. What's up, Pepper? We do something different every day.
Shopping for insurance doesn't have to be stressful. I'm Christy, owner of Ellsworth Insurance, located here in Newnan, Georgia. We're an independent agency with access to multiple carriers for home, auto, life, health, and commercial insurance. We're your one-stop shop for your needs. www.insurewithellsworth.com 770-755-7055.
There we go.
We look forward to meeting you soon.
That's it right there. I want to thank Daniel once again for his donation. No conspiracies on that, Pepper. Patriot left. Did he leave? He can't be leaving. Fred, guess how you doing this morning in Japan, my friend? Thank you very much. And as you can tell now, I'm with the YPP, the YouTube Partnership Program. So that's great. Everything's going good with continue. Had a couple of great guests this morning. Truck driver Terry is at home for a few days. He's not quite used to that. His wife's going to make him work anyway. He's got chores. That's all right. Share. Well, tell your cousin we said, hey, if you're still around. If you're still around, your cousin. Or if your cousin's still around, tell him we said, hey. Thank you. I appreciate it. Full a lot of guests today. I like to have a lot of guests. And try a day where I can open up the phone lines for our listeners. I got more people coming on. Trying to be more different types of guests.
Well, your search is over. Most Valuable Smiles in downtown Georgia is committed to giving you the biggest and brightest smile. Right now,
Thank you, Gail. You always say it's a good show no matter what. I appreciate you. She says, hey, well, hello, cousin to share. Cousin Cher's cousin. Guest on the radio, good. Guest at home, nah. I agree with you, BC. I agree with you. Chaos, BC. I agree 110%. Oh,
For our show, Health Happiness and Harmony, a show in which we talk about positive psychology and things that can help mental health. My goal
welcome back into RyanORadio Penitentiary. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. And we appreciate you being here with us. Thank you for the prayers there, Gil. We're going to keep up with the Category 1 Hurricane Helen, which is going to be a tropical storm by the time she hits the surface of Florida in the next few hours. And between the next 24 to 48 hours, there's going to be a lot of rain coming into the Florida area, up into the Georgia area, Alabama, Georgia area. I know the Atlanta area is going to get hit, and we're in the path of that storm coming in the next couple of days. Flooding and everything in the metro Atlanta area at noon. And I will be here unless the lights go out. And hopefully I'll have enough power on my phone to go on the phone live. Probably won't be on the whole time. So there you go. But still, we will be doing that. Ladies and gentlemen, keep you up to date with that for the remainder of the week as well. Also, coming up tomorrow, we've got Courtney Lizzo from the Book of the Dead podcast. She'll be in the final period. We'll talk about another unsolved homicide in small town USA across the United States of America. We'll be part of that tomorrow morning on the show. Also, ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow morning on the show, we're going to hopefully start our review of the Mr. McMahon documentary, 6-part documentary on Netflix about his life, his building from nothing to the ground, from the ground up to something, and to bringing himself down in the lawsuit against him. All that's in the 6-part series. I'm going to start watching that this evening when I get home, so that I can start getting some of that. Plus, I want to talk about, there's a series on Hulu called Out There, Crimes of the Paranormal, which is not really about the paranormal. It's just people believing in extreme conspiracies that's taking them to do something extreme. Like you're going to remember this one, Gail. The first episode was up there about the guy in Nashville that blew up the RV there in on Christmas in December of 2020, saying that he was trying to take care of all the lizard people. They talked to his friend. It wasn't his girlfriend. The media kept calling her, but the girl wasn't his girlfriend. But she warned the police locally about him before it happened. We got to start taking serious things, guys, and not just say, well, we can't do anything. FBI can't do anything until something happens. Shouldn't be just we can't do anything until something happens. To be investigated into beforehand. So Terry says, I remember that. There you go, truck driver Terry. Captain Hot Buns. I have to say that on the radio. Fred, that's up. Hell yeah, from the bottoms up. There you go. But yeah, there was a several of them that I'm going to watch because it's out there, and it was talking about, I guess you would say, kind of conspiracies behind the murders that led to murders. Hopefully, the second season they'll do the Slender Man murders, or almost not murders, but Slender Man ones where the two teenage girls try to sacrifice their friend for Slender Man. So, but this one was that one, and I wanted to watch it, and the woman said she tried to warn Nashville police and everything. So why can't we do anything because the lizard people will get us left? We can't do anything because the lizard people will get us, right? Lot lizard conspiracy. That's actually a little bit more real. Lot lizards are real. Hello? Hello?
Hello, this is Maddie. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. I don't need you guys calling me if you're trying to sell me something.
Sir, listen, please. Sir, listen.
Siren Head will get you. Siren Head will get you. Yep. But I tell you, that's good morning.
Your car warranty is expired. You need to replace it.
I will. I got to replace that car first, though. I shot it. It started leaking oil, so I shot it.
I just wanted to play with you.
I appreciate it, Martin.
But have a good night.
You too, brother. You have a good day. Martin Deloach, right there. Martin D from all the way in Texas this morning. But what's up, Pepper? Good morning to you, laughing. Truck driver Terry's some M&M company. Hey, speaking of M&M company is going to be later on, especially in October, they're going to be having peanut butter and jelly M&Ms. So if your kids and grandkids love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, they're going to really love peanut butter and jelly M&Ms. They're going to be coming out. I know two little twins that are really going to love peanut butter and jelly M&Ms. Oh, yeah. Probably the older one, too. So, all right, guys. Stay tuned. Coming up, we got Health, Happiness, and Harmony Hour. Follow me this morning with Dr. Lewis Boynton, and we'll follow that up with the Bible with Bob. And then at 12 noon, it's the best sports line in the business. Rod Peterson, 12 to 2, the Atlanta's NHL show. 2 to 3, it's the Sports Beats with Richard Holdridge. And 3 to 5, Braves Country Radio live. And then Rick Smith, the Best of Rick Smith show. Rick's wife is in the hospital. We're praying for her in Jesus' name. We're praying over Carol to get better as she's in an operation after she had a motorcycle accident. In Jesus' name, amen. And then we'll follow that up with some great programming. Shelton and Missy. Yep. My two little twins, Pepper. Our two little twins. Well, not mine, but they're the grand twins. Yeah. I know they'll love it. Shelton and Missy. That's right. That's what we nicknamed them, Shelton and Missy. They call them. Let's go to the phone lines. Good morning. Hey. You're on the air.
I'm on the air.
Yes.
Hello, everyone.
There you go.
I just want to say that I had a great time. I want to tell everyone, Ryan and I had a great time at Dr. Crystal Nelson's book signing on Saturday. You guys need to check her out. Blueprint Psychiatry. She is top-notch. One of the top-notch doctors around here.
Definitely so. Definitely so. There you go.
I just wanted to thank her, and I got a copy of her book, and encourage everyone to check it out.
There you go. Courage it. Courage it. Courage it. Well, all right. Anything else?
I love you. I love everyone.
Love you too.
And just want everyone to be safe.
Especially this storm coming in. Yep.
And don't neglect your mental health. Whatever you do. There's a movement going right now. It's a new mental health movement. And I think we all, if you've ever been affected by mental health in some kind of way, you should, participate.
That's true.
Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Andrew Juana's my lovely bride right there, guys. She says, love you exactly, says Pepper. There you go. All right, coming up, we're going to be Friday. We're probably talking about Bama and Georgia playing. I got to do a little sports on the weekend and get ready for the weekend ahead there. Plus, tomorrow morning, we got Courtney Liesel from the Book of the Dead podcast, Unsolved Homicide in Small Town, USA. We're going to try to talk about the Vince McMahon saga, as that is out on Netflix too, and a couple of other things that I'm going to be jumping into tomorrow's show. There you go. Ryan's bride. That's right. Truck driver Terry. Remember, which is the scariest place in the U.S.? It looks like 52% says other. That's the winner today. Stay tuned. We got a lot more in store for you. RyanORadio Penitentiary. Thank our guest this morning, Brenda Ganske from Horrifying History. And also we want to thank Miss Kuhlmann. That's right, Gwendolyn Kuhlmann, for being with us this morning as well. Guys, you have a great day. Peace, love, respect. I am out of here. All right, guys, got a live show coming up. We'll appreciate you. Oh, hitting the poll. Thank you. Thank you, Daniel, once again for the donation up there. You guys are going to be able to go on and start chatting and putting green and all these different color things. Yes, I am married. I am married, Bolly. Well, the middle stepdaughter's kids. I got the older stepdaughter already has two kids, two teenagers, one 16, one 18 when I met wife. And the middle daughter, we have an older one. He's 6 years old. We have twins that are 3 years old. And then we just got a newborn that's 4 months old, grandbaby. And the youngest stepson hadn't, well, as far as I know, he don't have any. You know how you guys are out there. I didn't know I had one. Yep. So there you go. Thank you, truck driver Terry. Guys, there's a lot of great things on there. I want to do a partnership with YouTube finally. Peace, love, respect. We'll see you tomorrow. More guests, more week, much more coming on this week. Have a great day.